Hey, welcome back to Metropole Grid. My name is Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. Checks phone quickly. It's November 5th, 2024. Seamless. How's everyone doing? Raise your hand if you have gone through daylight savings time and now the hour that it is not the hour that you think it should be. All right, now put down your hand if you're happy with how things are going. Hey, welcome everyone. I don't know who does and doesn't do daylight savings, but if you're tuning in and this seems like it's starting at a weird hour, it's because it is. This weekend we lost 1 hour. It was actually the best weekend maybe to lose an hour. As you might know, I was at a chalet thing doing a wedding, so we were at like a nice place, and so we got an extra hour of it, which is like a real cool hack. If you ever want to get more value out of your overnight stay that you pay money for or whatever, just do it on that one day where you get 1 more hour. Rip an hour. It's really bad. Actually, how's it going? DST actually the worst. Lucille, are you doing it too across the pond? Generally the worst. Just awful. Just terrible. I hate it. It gets dark at 4. I don't know what to do about it. Everything feels off by more than an hour. It does feel, it's like very weird. It feels strange. Like it's, I don't know. When I was a kid, I don't think I minded it that much. Obviously, as not a kid anymore, it's been a couple years. It feels say way worse. I don't know what it is. Mansion Runner next DST. Hey, Tread Pinkpin, how's it going? Just weird for EU people who had summertime end a week earlier. Oh, are we now back on track? Okay, hold on. So I fixed Restream. So my Restream chat is now where I think it should be, which is good. It's just a bit too small. So I'm gonna, oh, I didn't mean to hit that button. Okay, this is a live stream. This is a live stream. I will emphasize. Fallback makes it a lot easier for me to wake up for work. It does, but then also it's like dark as heck at like 5 in the afternoon, which is not very good. Hey, Solom. Hey, Stephen E. Watching a Canadian stream, a sci-fi game currently set in Brazil seems like a good way to distract from the US election. Yeah, that's true. It's American election today. Obviously, that's a really big one. I think people are pretty nervous. It seems to be quite a close race, or at least that's what they're reporting. I feel like last time they did some reporting, it didn't turn out that well. So yeah, I am like, as a Canadian, obviously pretty nervous. Hopefully everyone's holding on pretty well. Go out and vote. If you're watching this and you haven't voted, it lets me know. And I'm allowed to stop the stream for you. Or I'll just play ads. I'll just play ads. It's that easy. Hopefully everyone's doing well. Let me catch up on chat earlier. Hey, happy Tuesday. Oh, what sesh? This is an F-line sesh. I usually go for my weekly F-line sesh. It's pretty good. Smoke sesh stream Xu. Yo, let's go and hit a blinker at work. What is a blinker? I'm going to hit a blinker at work. Blinker? Slang? Is this a cigarette? A light dab of pen or vape starts blinking, which happens when they take an extremely long hit. All right. Now we know. Worlds 2 Hypecast. Yo, not yet. How's it going? We're going to be talking about that. Just a bunch of hype. It's not this weekend, but the next weekend is UK Nationals, which is going to be a huge event. Let me know if it's sold out. I'm assuming it's been sold out by now. I think there's only like a dozen tickets left over about a couple weeks ago. Missing out on locals because I'm feeling sick and desperately hoping I feel better by Worlds 2. At least that means I got to watch the grid. Hey, Lucille, sorry to hear that. Get some sleep. Oh, it's not that late yet. No, you're fine. You can stay awake. I'm always like reflexively saying it's pretty late, but hopefully you're feeling better soon, huh? You got a couple weeks to feel better. I'm hoping for the best, of course. Working from home due to some strange circumstances, so here for Tuesday stream. Welcome home. Welcome to the 2-monitor lifestyle. Productivity is really good. Really good. Yo, Ba. Hey, Andre. You asked about the mean lat from Worlds. I've just DM'd you the correct lat as per Worlds top cut. Oh, you have it. Okay, so the idea was that Ba went together through all the lat lists and came up with, hold on, the lat list that is like the most average lat list. Does this work? Yeah, this works. So the idea is that if you take every single lats list submitted at Worlds, Ba did this. This is like the average lat list, which like it's on 2 consoles. The fuck? I feel like maybe the data should have spotted that, Ba. You can't do that. That's illegal. I'm so surprised 2 Stone Ship is like the version. This is the meta lat, the most meta lat. I'm kind of surprised that it's on 3 trick shots. That seems like a bit much. Echelon and Revolver? Bah, this data is messed up. We can't break code gates. I didn't. There was like some more contraindications. I guess all the lat lists that were put together. Obviously, you can play either Onacom or Swift. Boss says, I'll try and play both. Please no Mansion Runner and DST start weekend. It's pretty bad. I kept getting hungry. Vote US people. Like, you keep getting hungry? Yeah, because you're an hour off food. How's it going, Lava? I agree too. It makes it easier to get up, but I don't know. We go from UTC +1 back to +0. We rolled back a week ago. Oh, so there was a week off. I voted like a week ago. It's fine. Okay, you're allowed. You're allowed in. Aksu, I have not voted. Okay, how do I ban Aksu? The US has an election. The UK has set the air on fire. My lungs are not happy. It is truly a day. Were there wildfires right now in the UK? Glad to see you today. David, how's it going? Good morning. Hopefully you're doing well. Already voted. Okay, super nut, you're allowed in. Hype for UK Nats, currently building a deck to test a pub runner. Hey Connor, how's it going? I opened this off stream while I was in the loading and I like giggled, and so my reaction is not going to be as genuine as it is. But I was looking at some of the UK Nationals, and whoever's doing this with all the UK Nationals like emoji support is kind of killing it here on Always Be Running. Firstly, there's an Arkham horror event, and I clicked on this. So this is, I've never seen this before in the history of Netrunner, but there's a side event that's Arkham horror, and it got the squid emoji, which is really great. And there's actually prize support, and the prize support is from Jonky Bong, and it's an alt art that is a Netrunner Arkham alt art. This is a Jupestad grid. Definitely not tournament legal, but so damn cool. So for those who don't know, Arkham Horror is a single player or cooperative card game. It's not like Netrunner in some ways. In other ways, it's a lot like Netrunner. I'm obviously a big fan of it. And they've created, it took them a couple of years, but they've created these scenarios that you are encouraged to play at conventions because they scale up with player size. The idea is that you can have like as many groups of up to 4 players, and what they do interacts with one another. So specifically at UK Nationals, they're playing, what's it called? The blob that ate everything, which is a scenario that has a boss that is a big old slime, like 1950s comedy horror slime thing. Maybe comedy is not the word that should be stressed there. But the idea is that I think the hit points of this thing scales for every player who's playing it. So you have to work together and do your due diligence. Everyone has to chip in. It's fun. I've only played Blob once, and I'll be honest, Parallel, what's his face? Parallel Roland died. My Parallel Roland, who was having a good time during that scenario, we did it as like an insert in the middle of a campaign. He died. He got his F-line session there, and it was not good. I probably should play the Blob again. I don't remember it very well. I think there's a couple standalones I still haven't played yet. I've played Blob only once. Woke up once a year, lightning storm, and an earthquake on the big island out here in Hawaii. Yo, the spirits are angry. Hopefully you're doing okay. Don't have the numbers at the moment, but as far as I'm aware, we have not sold out completely. Okay. So if you're planning to go to the UK Nationals, and I think you should, only to go play Arkham Horror. But there's a lot of really great stuff going on. Startup gets a little hatching egg. UK Nationals Classique has a dinosaur. It's really funny. And then, of course, Crown of Servers and UK Nationals itself. It's going to be a huge event. I think it's going to be streamed. I think I'll be told if I'm wrong about that. I mean, like average, not mean, like angry. I don't know which one is the angry lat. I read it and I thought it was the angry lat list as well. Fill in the rest of the circle. Draw the rest of the owl. Just don't run to code gates. Close the circle looking ass card. The Jupes and Slaps. It's really good. Radish, how's it going? I think that's fantastic. Squid's a good choice. Yo, Sepulflot, how's it going? We played Blob at US Netrunner Nationals back in 2018 or so. Keysar drew really cute pictures of the Blob as we beat it up. The last time that I played Arkham with Keysra, they played Susie, which is a print and play version of an Arkham character that I think is actually pretty interesting. And so they didn't have the cards because we don't have them. Nobody has a printer. So Keysra drew all the cards by hand, little squiggles and like nice art as you know, Kat does. And then they sleeved it up and played with them. I have those cards. Kat gave them to me. They're on like brown, like towel paper, like not even regular paper, but they have like Susie drawn on them, and they're very endearing. I have them somewhere in a binder. They're now technically collectible items. So sad that it overlaps with Classique. Oh, UK Nationals. Arkham Horror? Oh yeah, I guess it does overlap with Classique. Actually, do you play Arkham? Also, I take it you're traveling in. I'm excited to see Axu represent. Now the Blob from 1980 is one hell of a film. Is it from 1980? I thought it was way older than that. The Blob film. Because I thought it was like 50s-esque. But maybe the original one is, yeah, 1958. So I guess there's one in the 80s that was printed later. Or sorry, not printed. Whatever. I'm not going to fix that. The Blob will break the game in the best ways. PMK, you're totally right. A bit of a spoiler. Shit. I don't know if I should spoil it. But the Blob eats things. And so when the Blob does an eat check, you have to like look at a chart and pull a token. And then based off of what tokens you've pulled, something in the world of Arkham gets eaten. And sometimes it's something in the world of humans. It's pretty funny. Especially if you play at a big event. They're going to run into some issues. Blob is the only Arkham I've played. Get out. Yo, that's wild. Have you done the really hard one with the Sphinx? Yeah, I've done it a couple times. I actually enjoy it. It is pretty difficult, and I don't mind that. I like having a scenario that is pretty hard because if you have good decks, it's a good one to run into. It was the first standalone they printed? No, that's not true. It's the second standalone they printed. I don't even know what it's called. Egypt scenario, Arkham Horror. But I've played it 1 or 2 times at Guardian of the Abyss. It's really difficult. It's also, I think, a good use of, like, I don't think it's the first standalone you should get. No, that didn't work. But it does have like 2 scenarios in the pack, which is kind of nice. So there's like a part 1, and then once you do that, and if you succeed, which is hard, you go to part 2. The rewards you get from it are pretty generous, as much as the XP is pretty bad. But it's generally one of the cooler standalone scenarios, because this is the first time that we went to Egypt. I think that's still true. And it's just like a really thematic, cool standalone that clearly the people at FFG had some like great intentions of what they wanted to do with it. I liked it a lot. I don't remember how it ends that much though. I think the second scenario is a bit of a blur, but I know there's like the frightening boss things in there. I tried them to convince them to hold Classique on Saturday, but nobody bought it. Yeah, of course not. Have you considered tryharding at startup, the true best side event at UK? Oh, they're all on the same day. Yeah. That's cool. Cycling so can reply. It's okay, bud. In the world of humans is one hell of a way to say that. Glad we're finally getting in a quick F-line sash. Yeah, today we're going to get in our F-line sash. I'm excited. Like, PE rotates. I think I want to play a bit more PE. I got a couple games in recently, just like jamming loud type decks, like the sort of D or Tuno deck that was at the Top Cut of Worlds. And it's like kind of fun. And I think the one thing that unlocked it is like asking D. I was talking to D, be like, hey, what's the game plan of this deck? Like, a lot of times you can describe the linear enough game plan. Like, how do you play this Asa deck? And like, I know how to play this Asa deck. The Asa deck wants to do things. There's a bit of a step 1 and then step 2. Mind you, this card is a quintessential step 1, step 2 card, fully operational. And the PE decks, the loud decks, is just, as D said, vibes based. And once I've understood that and been like, wait, I just gotta play my hand, whatever makes sense. Like, the deck becomes a lot of fun. Where it's just like, oh, on this board state, this is the play that's the most annoying for my opponent, and I'm gonna do it. And it actually makes that deck really, really fun. Hey, what's an F-line sesh? Winning how's it going? It's a flatline. It's a flatline sesh. I can't believe there's this like small clip. I can't play it because the audio is not routed. Of Bill Hader's character. He plays like a roadie. He's in the film for like, I don't know, 20 seconds maybe. And he is a roadie for 44 seconds, it turns out, for the imaginary band. I'm not going to play this video. We're going to have to watch an ad. This imaginary band that Andy Samberg and the Lonely Island Friends have in this mockumentary. And he talks about his habit, or his hobby is going for, he likes flatlining, which is like, you know, getting dead for a bit and then they resuscitate you so he can see the afterlife. And he calls it an F-line sesh jokingly, and it's just kind of really endearing to me. Actually use prana condenser? Yeah, that's maybe step 2. I really like Rougarou, the Carnival Horrors, the hotel for side scenarios. Those are all very good. I don't think Rougarou is anywhere near my top favorites, but it was for a while when it was the only one. I think Carnival was my favorite scenario. I think actually that was the first one. Carnival is such a cool design that it actually plays out kind of like a board game with like a circular path, and you have to go for the dancing and you have to make really tough decisions. I think Carnival Horrors is actually one of the best standalones. Hotel is fantastic because it's really replayable. And then there's a bunch of weird ones that I don't think are worth replaying that much, unless you can play them in the mode where you have like 16 players or whatever, 12 players. Like I played the War of the Worlds one, whatever that one is called. I played it once. I don't think I want to play it again. Like, I've forgotten what it is, but it didn't seem that interesting. It's kind of interesting. Like, some of the original Arkham standalone scenarios just like have such good theme and such good place. Right? Like hunting the Rougarou through a bog in the bayou. Like, yeah, I remember doing that. I've done it a couple times. It's a scary wolf. It can just hit you sometimes, and we've died there before. Yeah, I don't know. Some of them don't hit as well. Am I allowed to self-promote? I released Arkham content for the few friends on the Optimal Play YouTube channel. Yeah, of course you can. YouTube Optimal Play. I think I've seen this channel. Yeah, of course I've seen this channel. But y'all do a lot of Arkham stuff. You don't do a bit of Arkham stuff. You do a lot of Arkham stuff. Very cool. I didn't know this was a Stephen E from this Stephen E, but that's pretty sick. Murder Excelsior Hotel was generally seen as the fave for a while. Haven't played it in the newer ones. Murder Excelsior has like really good replayability. Murder at Excelsior Hotel is kind of a bit more like Mansions of Madness. No, sorry, House on the Hill. What is the board game that people don't like? That has like the reveal and then someone's like the perpetrator and then the whole rules collapse on themselves when someone has to go to privately to a room to figure out how the rules work. It's like that. Like, there's a bunch of different ways that once something happens, something bad can happen. Betrayal at House on the Hill. Thank you. It's like Betrayal, Murder Excelsior, where something happens and based off of, you know, random chance, it it becomes one of many stories that can overlap all of this like cursed hotel. And so it's really good. It's really replayable for that reason. The rules are slightly fiddly, like patrol is a keyword that I don't think is well explained. But I think Murder Excelsior Hotel is a lot of people's favorite because it's like immensely replayable for that reason. I have to check all the standalones to do like a tier list. I love Bill Hader. Bill Hader's really funny. You gonna play Corp today? And no suit, Esteban, I know. We suited up this weekend. We spent a lot of good suit time. How you doing? F-line Sesh, but we're runner playing the Eternal 90% flatline speedrun Woo deck. Turn 1, we can do it, right? Check out Midwinter. No, I have Midwinter. Arkham. I have Midwinter. I got it in Toronto because it wasn't out here in Quebec for a bit. And it also seems to have a fair bit of replayability because based off of like random chance, I think you get some sort of villain, like you get some sort of antagonist, and that antagonist is coded by one of the factions in the game. So I imagine every time you play it, it can be different. I've sleeved up all the cards, so I've seen a couple of the cards. It looks like there's a lot of characters, and I don't think all the characters show up in every playthrough. So it looks really cool. I'm definitely down. The problem is we're currently near the final night on Hemlock. And my play group for Arkham, I have like 2 or 3 play groups from Arkham, but the one play group that I've been playing with Arkham since 2016, since the core set came out, we're struggling to meet up. Because normally we meet up on Monday nights, and for some reason that has fallen through, and we've just missed week after week after week. We met this Sunday night to play, and one of the players didn't see the message and didn't show up, so we just shot the shit. But we've been playing like on TTS, and anytime there's a new scenario like this, unless it's like the lockdown and we can't go out, we will not play a new scenario unless we're playing in person, because playing in person is obviously a bit different. But if we're like playing through Hemlock Vale for the 4th or 5th time, we have no problem just being like, oh, I'll see you at 8 o'clock on Tabletop Simulator. But Midwinter looks cool. I'm excited. I haven't played Midwinter, and I actually haven't. Oh no, I played the time travel one just this summer. It was okay. It was not my favorite. The person I turned my world's match slips into recognized me from optimal play. Yo, get out! Oh, that's sick. That's really, really cool. Plus, you can get Werewolf Preston. We've gone out of the way to get Werewolf Preston in the bio. Clue. Mansions of Madness is a good game. That was a demo. Mansions of Madness is an alright game. Hold on. This is the one I think it is. I think I own a lot of Mansions of Madness. My partner adores it. Maddie really likes it. My problem with Mansions of Madness. So Mansions of Madness, and there's a Lord of the Rings version of this. We have the 2nd edition. I've actually like taken the miniatures and gave them nice bases because the bases they came with were a bit daft. Is a game that has an app, and it's another sort of thing where like you start in the intro scenario, you start in a lobby of a house, you're called here for some reason, and then anytime they interact with something, you check the app, and then the app will be like, produce this tile from the box and put it here, produce this enemy. And so every time you play it, the game is pretty different. Like it looks like this, where there's a bunch of question marks, and then whenever you click on a question mark, you go to your app on your phone or a tablet or a computer, and then it'll say what happens at the question mark. So there's a bit of like a behind the scenes DM that's making decisions, and the way that the tiles are revealed are pretty random. It's weird. My gripe with Mansions of Madness, for those who haven't played it or have played it, is that you only have 2 actions per turn. I'm so used to Arkham and even Netrunner, we have 3 actions per turn, and 2 actions per turn is actually like pretty stifling, where I'm kind of incentivized to play multiple characters at the same time. If it's like me and my partner, just taking 4 actions like just doesn't feel enough. It doesn't feel like you make great decisions. A lot of times it's just like move, activate, fight, move. And it's kind of boring. It can be kind of boring, but we've had really exciting games where things happen and we have to react to them and people have to be heroic. And like some people, I remember we played this basic board. So this lobby always spawns here. And so like a bunch of people were, you know, getting in fist fights and throwing around ghouls and cultists in the lobby. It caught on fire. There's a rift to another portal. And I know I was Rita and I was like sprinting through the back rooms, getting everything done, running in with a fire extinguisher. And it's like genuinely funny. It makes like really cool, you know, stories. One of the weird things about Mansions of Madness is if you look at the app, it's like, okay, this is the first intro scenario. It takes like an hour and a half. And you're like, okay, that's good. This is the second scenario. It takes like an hour. Cool. This is the third scenario. It takes 6 hours. This is the fourth scenario. It takes 8 hours. Like there was no midpoint. I think they have DLC where you can buy more scenarios because it just reuses the pieces you have and then digitally creates a story. But I don't know. It was like there was not enough content that was like at the 2 hour mark that I wanted. But we have a lot of this that Maddie and I haven't explored. It's pretty cool. What if we tried to flatline the corp instead? Hey, Joe. I like Midwinter. You pick a faction and the opposing faction is your enemy and you get a point scoring thing. Yeah, the point scoring thing is like meant for the, you know, like playing at Gen Con so you can care about points. I don't know. Do people care about points? Journeys in the Middle Earth is a better game. I think in terms of a game, Journeys in the Middle Earth is a better game, but Journeys in the Middle Earth is a bit more on rails and it has like cool RPG mechanics where like you actually level up your cards and it's I wouldn't say a deck builder, but you get new cards into your deck, and there's like a modifier system, kind of, if I'm remembering, a bit like when you make an attack, kind of like Gloomhaven. It's been a while since I played this, but we also own this one too. And this one I think is a better game, but I think it produces less goofy, wild stories. Like it's less Betrayal in the House on the Hill and more like, Gloomhaven, more like rolling through caverns and exploring trails and making the same attack against the same person. Yeah, it's okay. Meaning the laptop is whack AF, at least you have voice acting. Interacting with stuff and finding out that you just did nothing on your turn. That doesn't happen. Almost never do you interact with something and it isn't anything. Sometimes you interact with something and it's like a slide puzzle, and you have amount of moves equal to one of your stats, which is like kind of bad. If there's a bunch of dice rolling, anytime you do an attack or like any sort of skill check, you roll dice, and depending on your successes, you input that into an app, and it's often like a granular system where it's not like success fail. It'd be like success by this amount, or you failed but slightly. So it's okay. Alec, how's it going? Charlie Kane S tier in mentions. Oh, I don't know what his text is. I do think maybe you can move someone. I think you can like help someone on your turn. Subtle thing that a lot of people don't pick up on, when I think is ultimately a good design choice, but certainly can be frustrating. You need to actually think about which search tokens might be good. Yes, that is a huge problem with this game that a lot of people run into, is that you just do not have time to search everything. And I don't know how I feel about that. Right? Like if you take your time and investigate the whole room, you will time out. Like the game, some of them just have an end state where if you're too slow, the game's over. But the game gets worse and worse and worse the longer you're in the game, kind of like Doom in Arkham to some extent. And so a lot of people see this and be like, I'm going to check on this and check on this. And the more we played the game, the more we realize like touch as little as possible, which just feels like a bummer. Like that doesn't feel great. I don't think anyone's excited about it. But like recently we played where my brother-in-law was like checking the fridge in the kitchen and he found, medicine in there. It's like, that was not worth one of your 2 actions on your turn. And that's not something you're going to say to him because like he's trying to have fun in a board game. Yeah, it's weird. It's not perfect. Trying to exhaust all the searches is so bad that one of the insanity cards forces you to do it. Oh, that's really funny. The game does have like really cool things where like if you take certain amount of, they have this sort of reductive, mental and physical trauma sort of thing. But when you take amounts of mental trauma, the cards will have text on them that forces you to do something. And if you ever crack, like if you ever take too much mental damage, you actually can get a trait that is secret that says like, oh, this is your alternate goal that you can't tell anybody, and you only win if this happens. Sometimes it'd be like, oh, you're paranoid. You can't end your turn in a space with somebody else. And obviously like, in terms of mental health, it's incredibly reductive the way that Arkham usually is. And if you're okay with that, though, it creates some pretty interesting things. Yo, Crank, thanks for streaming today. This is helping to keep my election anxiety in check. Yeah, I hear you. Hopefully you're doing well. I forgot to mention on your deck list of the week, not deck list of the week, the deck list that you posted last week. You mentioned that you let your team down at COS a couple years ago in Toronto. My dude, that is so far from true. I don't know why you said that. I hope you don't feel that way at all. You get a negative outcome if you go kill an orc, and a good one if you would let him go. Like Aragon, Legolas, Gimli would ever let an orc killer go free. I know Betrayal House on the Hill is kind of hated, but I love the absolute goofiness that makes. It's okay. The game is okay if you don't take it seriously, but like in terms of a rules engine, it's pretty bad. I don't like Betrayal. Betrayal Legacy is really good. I think Steven, my partner and I and some friends, we played through like maybe the first 6 or so, and then the pandemic hit, and so we've basically, I don't think we have that copy anymore because no one's going to remember where they are. It was okay. I've never been able to tune in to Tuesdays. I went from 1 gig to 120 gigs, and I can just let it fly. Are you on mobile at home? Brennan. Betrayal at House on the Hill is a story generator, not a game. Yeah, I agree. But then unfortunately, you have to win by the mechanics of the game. And the mechanics of the game, and then like the secret mechanics. And then if you get someone who is the betrayal person, and it's their first time playing that game, and they have to go into a room and read the rules, like it collapses inwards sometimes. Not a particularly good one, but people enjoy it. That's cool. Yeah. I enjoy it every once in a while, but then I play it, I'd be like, I won't play this for another 6 months. That's fine. You got Scooby-Doo Betrayal? I didn't know they did that. Our Betrayal Legacy campaign also ended 2/3 of the way through because of COVID. Yeah, it came out exactly at the wrong time. Shout out to as well to, what was that game that Shut Up and Sit Down really liked, where you were the king's, I want to say advocates. I played it with Pat. We never finished that too. I think COVID got in the way of that one too. King's Dilemma, yeah, we got like mostly through King's Dilemma. I even made a chat bot for Restream on Discord that would allow you to secretly pick your roles for King's Dilemma. Like I put a lot of effort into it, but we never finished our King's Dilemma, which is a bit of a bummer because that game seems really cool. I also don't think I own that box anymore because you can't really reset it. I personally prefer Mountains of Madness to this. Boris, I haven't played Mountains of Madness. The only time that I've seen someone play Mountains of Madness was at a Netrunner World Championship in 2018 or 2017. Like, I know when I was casting during Top Cut, some of my friends pulled out a copy of Mountains of Madness at the FFG Game Center and played it, and I think they had an okay time. Want to skip our 1 p.m. meeting and hang out in here? Badass John. My group finished it. It was awesome. It seemed really good. It seemed like it was getting somewhere. I finished a campaign finally a few months ago. Very worthwhile. Oh, cool. I've seen folks do more RPG improv story version of Betrayal, and it kind of works. Yep. Yeah, I could see that. I think if you can stop making the game about the game, that's really cool. And like, shout out to this game. Am I going to get the name right? Yeah, I'm going to get the name right. Like, I have a problem. Right? Because a lot of times I'll end up in games that have narrative stuff, and then they'll have gameplay stuff. And it's in my best interest, I'll open that one, to always do the thing that will like give me the best EV to win. That's the kind of guy I am. It's not very flattering, but like if I'm playing Betrayal and there's something that creates a better story, and then there's something that creates a bigger chance that I'm gonna not die when something bad happens, I'll do the not die thing. And I think that's a problem that I have to like, you know, reflect inwards on and see if that's worth addressing. But I want to shout out Thunder Road Vendetta, which is a game we picked up over the last holidays when I was at home with my my family, because it was a game we could easily play every night. It didn't take long. And I think the big thing about this game is that I think it's the first game where I remember clearly being like, there's an optimal move, and then there's a fun as heck move that's incredibly dangerous but very flashy. I'm going to do the fun as heck one that's incredibly dangerous and flashy because it just was fun. It just encouraged you to do something that was like, okay, if this works out, it's going to be ridiculous. It's like not the right move if I want to strictly win, but like, I don't know why this game got me so good. Thunder Road is a goofy fun time. It's so good. It's just like, this is the, like, encouraging me and being excited about doing the wrong thing because it's funny is not something that happens in a lot of board games, and I don't know why Thunder Road does it for me. You mean like playing Reprise? I think Reprise is good, but like that's not it. I think Reprise I don't play because it's a win more card, not because it's goofy and fun. And I think Reprise should see a bit more play, but I don't know. There must be a better example in Netrunner. I'll go for the fun move almost every time. I also cast Fireball a lot in my D&D game. Oh, the King's Dilemma. I ended up causing super bad feels at the end of our campaign by turning my best friend's wife against him. But the game was really good overall. Sorry to hear that. Oh, man. This is now officially a work meeting. It's a training session. Andre Kid and Voices. Okay, fantastic. Welcome. Playing Ampere? No, not today. I don't think I want to. Like, that's the thing. It's like Ampere is the opposite. Man, that's a good example, honestly. I see what you mean. Like, Ampere wants you to do the fun thing, but honestly, the fun thing in Ampere, for me personally, is miserable. Where it's like, I can't make good decisions. I can't do anything. I know last time I played Ampere on stream, it wasn't awful. Like, I had actually a way better time than I think I would. But like, I don't look at this and think it's going to be fun, and I don't often play it and think it's fun. I just think it's like, oh my, I'm going to click for credits, right? Like, imagine Ampere didn't make you click for credits. Thunder Road is great. Beer and pretzel game. If you play that game strictly when you're probably going to have a bad time, just roll dice and have fun. Exactly. Yeah. No, I agree. Okay. Kyle, I don't know what you posted, but it redacted it. I don't think it was a curse. Okay. Hey, if you haven't found out, Null Signal Games has now finished uploading all the stuff from Worlds. This is really sick. So every single round and then some of the standalone interviews are all different videos up on their channel. This came up really quickly. I honestly don't know if uploading this many videos across this few days is good for the YouTube algorithm, but I don't know if that's there's concern. You should watch this World Champions Organized Play and Q&A. At like halfway in, if 2/3 in, the microphone actually ends up in the hands of the question askers, but I think Jeff does a good job reiterating the questions as much as you have to sit through some amount of silence while the question goes through. I think this is a really cool thing if you care about OP. I think that turned out well. I haven't caught up on everything. There's a bunch of these interviews. That's Odenuvo. That's Swan, I believe. There's a bunch of interviews I have to catch up on, and the games are really good. Now, the finals is uploaded, and I think the finals has the highest view count, but kind of it usually does. And I just want to say, for those who haven't watched the finals, and maybe you have watched the finals, we got lucky. Like, we got so damn lucky that I know this game is like 90 minutes. I'm wearing the same shirt. This is just such a good game. Like, I obviously remember what happened. I was there. I was talking through most of it. But, lol, I rewatched all of this, like, the other day at 2x speed, as I do. And, like, we got really lucky. This was a great game. I fell asleep. I thought this game was so good. It was so tense. It's just like we don't always get something like this. Like this year's Worlds, I think the finals was really fun. Last year's Worlds, the finals was like incredibly close too. Obviously it was a timed finals last year, and like shout out to Cable for even just like taking the final turn to not win on time, because Cable understood that he was going to flatline to a clearinghouse. Like I think that's a very noble move as well. But like we just get really, really lucky when the finals are this good, because a lot of people are going to see this, and I think it's a pretty approachable. But like I think at some point Alex almost flatlines, like goes down to one card in hand, and D has a chance of like hollow minting out a Sting for lethal. Alex goes for deep dives and doesn't win the game. Like it's just a really great back and forth. I think it's kind of exciting. The TO meeting was great. Santa, you were in there, right? I think I heard your voice. How's it going? I had the same thought about the algorithm getting confused by the flood of videos posting. Yeah, I think it's not a great thing to do, either for the algorithm, but also for people who are subscribed to you, because like if their feed is mostly your content, they can get fed up. I don't know what to do about it. I think you maybe schedule one a day, but then it'll be done by like next year. Watch the whole thing as it happened. Yeah, it was really fun. I'm just really lucky about this. So just so we get a bit of talk about this, I know we're talking about other stuff that are not Netrunner. We'll get back to Netrunner. But this weekend was the Flesh and Blood World Championship in Osaka. And their finals was not as long, but they were also having games in their top cut that were 90 minutes. And that's because they were untimed games. And spoilers for those who don't watch Flesh and Blood, the thing that won Flesh and Blood is something that is incredibly tense, and is something that casual players really, really hate. And I'll show you what it is, and you probably will see where this is coming. They have a top 8. The way that they do in Flesh and Blood is they have a top 8 cut, and it's just single elimination. So there's only like, I think 6 or 7 games in the top cut, and they actually stream every single game. So while 2 of the players play, the other 6 players are actually waiting because they want to get every game on stream. So the third final day of the World Championship actually takes a really long time. Some of these games are, again, I think 90 minutes. Now, Flesh and Blood, for those who don't know, it's a card game. It's a 1v1. It's kind of like a fighting game. It's a game where you have attacks and equipment and health total, and you have to get your opponent's health total down to 0. I think it's a really clever game. I like it a lot. But check this out. This game came out. This card came out. This is a card that came out called Count Your Blessing. This just came out in the last set, so it's only like a couple, maybe a month old, maybe less than it. And it is an instant card. I don't know if the bottom is cut out. It doesn't really matter. And this symbol here, this green symbol, is life. So in Flesh and Blood, when you play Classic Constructed, you have 40 life. And you can play this card as an instance, so at any paid ability window functionally in Netrunner. And it says gain X health, where X is 3 plus the number of Count Your Blessings in your graveyard. So it has Sting algebra on it. But in short, when you play this, you'll gain at least 3 health. And then every other copy of Count Your Blessings in your deck will give you even more health. The thing about Flesh and Blood is that cards, you can only have 3 of a single type of card in your deck. Just like Netrunner, you can have only 3 Count Your Blessings in your deck, but that is 3 red Count Your Blessings. Flesh and Blood has this really cool system where cards are also the resources that you pitch. So you put them basically on the bottom of your deck at the end of your turn to pay for your other cards. So the red cards, they only pitch to generate 1 resource, but they have better abilities. So their text is better. Yellow cards pitch for 2 resources, but they have a middling ability, and blue cards pitch for 3, which is a lot, but they have the worst ability. So you can only play 3 red Count Your Blessings, but you can play 3 yellow and 3 blue Count Your Blessings. The yellow one is X plus 2. The blue one is X plus 1. So the idea is that you can play 9 of these in your deck. And as you might imagine, holy crap, the games go 90 minutes. Is Count Your Blessing consumer grade? Not more consumer grade than any other card of Flesh and Blood that comes in a whole, that comes in red, yellow, and blue. So there are a lot of Flesh and Blood decks that will play 9 of the same card, 3 red, 3 yellow, 3 blue. It's actually, you don't see yellows that often in Flesh and Blood because they're not that good. But this is a card that came out recently, and it won the World Championship and produced games that were 90 minutes. And it's akin to someone just like blocking and just healing. Like they don't attack, they just basically sit back and heal and heal and heal and heal. And the game ended when the opponent, she was a player from the States playing an aggro deck, ran out of cards in her deck, and her opponent was still on 20 health. She was on like 30 health because her opponent had no interest in really attacking. And that won World Championships. And I think it's some interesting technical play. I don't think the finals was that interesting on a technical level. I'm not the most plugged into Flesh and Blood, but currently this is like the thing that is like really scaring people in Flesh and Blood, is that the finals, people fell asleep watching it. And it is what it is. I'm not going to talk about the health of Flesh and Blood. I think the game is fantastic. I want to play more of it. But yeah, sometimes you just don't get the finals that people are excited to get. It's an instant, yeah, not an action. So you can play this like at any paid ability window. So it doesn't take you at 1 action per turn. Yep, running 9 of these. Yeah, it won Worlds. It's a bit of a bummer. It's wild to watch because, again, 90-minute finals. One of the games, the guy who won, he's a Polish player, got down to like 2 or 3 health. Like it actually was close. But yeah, it is what swept through Worlds, unfortunately, which like the player who plays this, like, I think publicly gets a bit vilified because everyone thinks this is kind of gross. But at the end of the day, it's a world championship. Like, they're there to win. He put a lot of effort to making his deck work and played it incredibly well. So I don't have much to say about it. Like, watching the last match of a Magic Grand Prix and someone wins because the opponent gets mana screwed. Yeah, yeah, maybe. I think it's maybe worse than that. Like, we saw Sokka lose in like the lower finals on like turn 2 because he didn't make any wrong decisions. It's just D ran incredibly hot and saw 3 points. Or sorry, 3 agendas, right? But it's more like imagine a fighting game character that just like blocked and healed, and then they win because time gets called. I leave to make dinner. We moved from the Arkham tangent to the Flesh and Blood tangent. Assume about the 7-hour-long finals. Yeah, exactly. About the count your blessings meta right now. It's like 2017 when the runner loses to turn 1 scarcity resources. That's different but worse. Resurrection Priest in Hearthstone, barf. Yeah, I played that. I do hate that. Revive Priest, whatever. I'm gonna make 1/4/9 with life steal. Cheat that out, and then I'm just gonna get that revived for the end of the game until you run out of threats. It's so annoying. Anyways, could be worse. I just want to shout out the finals were very, very good, if you ask me. I think they turned out great. I'm excited to watch a bunch of the games that I haven't caught up on yet. Did you scroll up and read Cephalopod Wizard's comment? How far up? Did I miss it? By the way, during commentary when the crowd cheered, y'all in commentary said, I think something happened in startup. That was because we had just seen DJ Ketzel on our stream view. Oh, you were 10 seconds behind. Thank you. Oh, that's how that was. I was told that there was some like loud stuff that happened when we were casting that we didn't know what it was. One of them was somebody broke a chair, I think. Somebody just like went through their chair, and that was apparently pretty funny. The other one was, yeah, apparently DJ Ketzel. That's great. Imagine like 3x Museum IG where it just grinds you out. Yeah. But you could win against that deck. Happy to stick your head in the sand for 24 hours a day. Oh, happy stick your head in the sand for 24 hours. Eric, hopefully you're doing all right out there, huh? Nearly every game that was on Stream of Worlds was entertaining. We really lucked out. Yes. Yeah. I think there was only like one game I might have saw that was like not interesting. Almost all the games were interesting, which like you don't get that all the time. Speaking of worlds, let's play some Personal Evolution. This thing rotates out. Personal Evolution almost won Worlds. I think that's like such a wild narrative. I don't think I was surprised to see as much PE at Worlds. It's a favorite of QTM, and the deck's pretty good. I think it's hard to play into Lat, though. Like, Lat decks are just not dying out there, so I don't think it's the most obvious choice, but it did do quite well. Has PE ever won Worlds? No. PE came second, if I'm not mistaken. Mintran. So am I Worlds? Mintran, who is the person? Am I right about it? Is it Mintran? I hope I'm not getting the name wrong. But I think this is the person that runs Jnteki.net. Came second playing Cambridge Jnteki at Worlds in 2014 in the finals. I lost to Dan Dargenio, but this is the person who runs Jnet, if I'm not mistaken. Well, that's a cool thumbnail. But yeah, it did come in second at Worlds, losing to, I'm assuming, Andromeda. So it has nearly before. Jnteki has won Worlds before. Replicating Perfection has won Worlds. I'm not sure if another Jnteki has won Worlds. I'm sad D didn't win Worlds, but I'm happy P didn't win Worlds. Yeah, Jnteki got close. This is actually 2 games in an hour and 18, which is great. So it looks like Min lost the... I don't know if Min was in top seed and lost the comeback and had to run it back, but Dan does beat the PE deck. I remember watching this game many, many years ago. That's a wild camera angle. I know. It's so weird. It is so genuinely weird. Good old 720p. There is no top-down camera angle. That's actually notable. I've never seen anything like this. And honestly, I don't hate it. Min's PE won against Dan's Andy deck in the finals. Dan won the reset. Oh, so it's the opposite. So Min wins and causes the reset, and then Dan wins it back. Okay, that makes sense. I wonder how he wins. Look at this ice, like Yagura, just like good old classics on the table. Honor and Profit was out in 2014 by this time. Just like 5 cards on the table playing like Cambridge Trap Jnteki. I like this camera angle. Honestly, get to see a hand a bit. Not a bad camera angle. Surprisingly cool. Mushin is happening. Like cards are getting advancements on the table. This is weird. Score Gia hands? Yeah, you played Gia hands in this deck. Just click for 3 credits for 2 clicks was just good enough. So the advanceable card, it looks like we're just checking it. It is a Fetal AI, so that's going to be 2 credits to steal and 2 net damage. We're going to get our Desperado credit. Look at that hand. Just feels good. Nice stuff. Sec testing, emergency shutdown. We're going to lose a Data Sucker. That's what Leech is right now. But man, all these old cards. This was an old Data Sucker alt art. It looks like Dan didn't actually have a full playset of them. These were really hard to get. These were incredibly expensive and one of my favorite arts. Scoring out, House of Knives, gonna do net damage. Very, very cool. It's how you would normally observe a game. I wonder if there's a way you could have a camera under the table to see a hand like in poker. But not everyone holds their cards underneath the table. So if we look at, I don't think we open Flesh and Blood, but Flesh and Blood does that too, where they have the like flat top-down angle, but they also have like player cameras and they'll cut to like a camera that's basically at this angle, but a bit lower, so you can see the hand a bit more. But if you want like a table camera, so like you can peek under their assets, I don't know. Pretty sure that's a whirlpool? No. Oh, like in the art? Yes. It is a whirlpool of some sort. Yeah. Like a piece of glass the players could set their hands down on. This is like a weird thing that I don't know how I feel about, but I feel like asking players to do something that they don't normally do during gameplay, but you want them to do that for the stream. Like I feel always uncomfortable asking for that. Right? To be like, when you set your hand down, set it down here. Like I feel like they have a lot of on their mind that I don't want to ask them to be like, hey, do this weird, you know, dance for us. But maybe I'm a bit strict on that. Okay. Chop everyone's cards like they do in modern poker. I don't know what that means. No playmat? Oh my god, yeah, you're right, no playmat. And I think they had playmats. I think this is a playmat though. Like this is an FFG playmat, but they don't have their own playmats. It's wild how that makes the space like feel more like a shared space. To chip everyone's cards. Oh, so when they hit the table, you can tell what they are. They probably asked not to use a playmat. Yeah, that's my guess. These players both have playmats. This is a cool production. 720p kind of goes hard. I do think I watched like the 2017 FFG L5R, the first Worlds, and also like 720p. Figuring out a good camera angles for card games is such a fun problem. It's also like figuring out a good UI is, I think, quite difficult. I really liked what Worlds was this year that Alagarda put together and like Kato and Jason. I think there's still like feedback. I do think the card pop-up covering the bottom of the screen is actually pretty annoying more often than not. But the card pop-up with the additional text, kind of like Team Covenant did, is really, really slick. I can understand no playmats on screen. Back, people were more likely to have inappropriate anime-styled art. I don't think I actually saw anybody with stuff like that back in the day. I don't honestly know if that was more popular at all. Card game UI definitely a problem I'm interested in. Yeah, no, I reckon so. Okay. So let's go play some PE decks. I think we're gonna play a couple different kind of PE decks. I think where we're gonna start is just some of the stuff from the World Championship. So actually did a quick write-up here to talk about some of the decks, and you can just grab them. A lot of these decks aren't posted yet. So D has the top placing PE deck, not far behind is Tuno. And this sort of list is the sort of loud archetype. And this list is really wild. It uses its influence to play one upgrade from each faction, which I think is quite fun. The Tranquility Home Grid and the Chrism Grid, I think, is a difference from Tuno's list. I think Tuno's running a fully operational, and then I'm not sure where the other influence goes from. This one's also on 2 Anemones, which is pretty rough. I think that card's really interesting in the matchup. 2 Anansis, no Size and Tons, so face checking is a bit easy. 3 Vampiranaso, this card does work. Data Loop does a lot of work, and Tattoo Bowl is the money. This deck doesn't have a lot of money. It's on a singleton hedge fund. It has Rashida. So the big money in this deck is like Cohort. If they stick, that's really good. Prana is a lot of money if it sticks, and it shouldn't stick. They should definitely try and trash that. And then, of course, Tattoo Bowl is actually like some of the biggest money in the whole damn deck. Agenda Suite's also really strange. Like a lot of 3-ofs, 2-ofs, 1-ofs, and it's hard. Your opponent doesn't know what you're on. Open deck lists obviously helps a heck of a lot, understanding the deck is not on 3 snares and how many copies of Regenesis or Hybrid Release they are on. But just like a really fun list to jam and just kind of make the best of whatever hand you have. Just vibes-based Netrunner. D was super happy that was a rainbow P. They were absolutely jazzed with the rainbow part of the P deck. I think D does a lot of stuff just because it's like fun and cool, not because it's maybe optimal, but like D plays optimally. D's great. New corp deck. Will this work? Oh my god, it does work. Show credit cost? Is this new? Whoa, that's new, right? That's interesting. D's Worlds P. B-Bone felt the same and eventually just set aside and shrugged at the camera. Click trackers were the hardest thing for me to remember on stream. Yes, if someone asked me to do click trackers on stream, I would look them dead in the eye and say, I cannot do that. If you want to have a judge do it for me, but like I cannot do click trackers, unfortunately, for better, for worse. Do I mess up someone's clicks? Yeah, definitely. But I just don't have the workflow. And if I have to worry about that on stream, it's going to take me off my game, and I don't want to do that. Click trackers mission possible. Yeah, it's pretty rough. It looks nice in Chrome, doesn't quite work right in Firefox. Wait, there's a chance it doesn't work because I have like stylings enabled. And so there's a chance that the stylings on top of Cyberfeeder might be messing it up. I don't think I would like to switch credit tokens either. I think people don't mind using the poker chips because they're very easy to use. Like if you had tokens that were worse than yours that you normally use, you'd be like, no, thank you. I think some players did use their own tokens even when asked, which like, I think that's okay. I don't think I'd fight anyone about that, but I'm okay using those tokens. But if someone said I don't want to use those tokens, I think they're allowed to do that. I have the L5R LCG big shiny metal elemental rings, which I use for click counters. Oh, those are cool. Those are really cool. I'm bad with the click trackers. Got the cool magnetic one at Worlds to try and build a habit. That one's from Montreal. That's from Eddie, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're up on, you can get them on Etsy. I saw them the other day too. They're pretty cool. I don't know if I would use it though. Like as cool as any amount of click tracking is, I just don't think I'll do it. It's too hard of a habit. Found a technique that works with the click counters. I put them in my credit pool and spend them by putting them on the thing I'm doing. I could not have a flip tracker style. I've seen players do that. Diogen does that a fair bit. He even has his clicks numbered. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and he'll put them where he does his things. I think that's really cool. I think sometimes it's an issue. I think it sometimes could be an issue is more accurately, because when he plays an event, he'll play an event and then he'll put the click on the event. And then like if the event doesn't go into archives until the end of the turn, which like there's some matchups where that matters more than others, but it's not my favorite. I think you can run into problems with it. I like click trackers, especially a runner where so much stuff can happen during a single click. It's too easy to forget. Corpse is easier, unless I have to do like an MCA, but there's certain runners. Like if I'm playing Sable, I think I'd worry about it. How's it going, by the way, Ryan? Hey, best of luck. Have fun. We're playing against Ken, 45 cards. I don't like this hand. Crisium Grid's pretty good against Ken. Successful run triggers are going to happen. If Ken steals an early Fuji, our win rate kind of plummets. That's just kind of how it goes in the deck. But it should be that hard to flatline Ken. Okay, we want Ice on HQ. Tattoo Bowl is good. We want to do Asa and not into Prana Condenser because you can get the money back pretty quickly. But ideally, we want to stabilize from here. We might have a slower start. We'll see how things go. It allows me to backtrack in an easier manner. Yeah. I think that's really great. I've seen a lot of like people appreciate that. How's it going, Diogen? I worry that there's going to be a situation where it's like you do a Steve Cambridge and the event that you've played is not in your bin. So like when that happens, I get a bit nervous, but I think you stay on top of it. We do need data loop. We need money here. So I don't know if we put the Prana down. Behind the Anansi, if we res the Prana and gain 3 on an R&D run, we'll be at 7, so we can't really res the Anansi. So we'll try and do it next turn. I don't understand how people do it. Me neither. Hey, Pinnacle, how's it going? I cannot play without click trackers. Tuesday stream. Hey, Jay, I'm excited for non-US politics related excitement and flatlines. Yep, I feel it. I've only just started tracking clicks, but that's because I play a lot of Sable and I cannot imagine playing Sable without tracking clicks. I've seen some people do some really elegant stuff with Sable where they just keep the click on their identity ability and then add that to their click pool. I think that's kind of... Fuck. That was what we said shouldn't happen. That was the bad thing. They lost to Shibboleth though. That can be good for us. But losing that on turn 1 is like the worst thing you can do to yourself. 9 credits. Will they check the table? Maybe. We can put the cohort on the table. I think they will check it. So I just want to get the money up. Oh, unfortunately, we can't do a Nancy Prana. So I think we'll just do the cohort. I've been streaming. The direction has just been put your playmat within these markers so the camera sees everything, which I appreciate. Yeah, for the world stream, I think there's a bigger reason to be as clear as possible. All right, we could lose. The only team and click trackers are numbered 1 to 4. Put the 4 at the front of the Mando draw. Yeah, I think people having like their mandatory draw click is actually pretty slick. All right, Moonpool doesn't seem that good to us. Okay, Sting's on top. We have a Wage Workers. So we probably want to score the Sting so R&D is a bit worse. I don't love the idea of putting Data Loop on R&D. So we can do Spin Doctor to draw. Hopefully we just get a piece of ice on R&D. I'm on in chat. Okay, so we have Moonpool Hyper Release Sting. That's pretty good. That means we can fast advance something we get off the top. I really don't want to put a data loop on R&D, but I'm assuming Ken is running a bunch of like jailbreaks and stuff, that putting this on R&D might be something. We definitely need this for a remote server, but I don't want to leave R&D open anymore. Unless we get the Prana down. Maybe we just do Prana data loop. Maybe we can ride this for a bit. Do you think they should release a Platypus companion? Yeah, I'm fine with it. This is just D's list. Yo, Galehar, how's it going? If you use click trackers, add a token which you gain a click instead of flipping back. Otherwise, it doesn't help much for high click turns. Add a token which you gain? Yeah, I wouldn't flip back. I would gain a token. I think you're right. Also, I need to respond to your email. I got your response from it. Okay, we'll res this. They could flatline to this, but no hard feelings at all. I was also a bit, it definitely caught me by surprise. Hopefully I wasn't too snippy. Oh, there's timestamps on these messages now. So we have two options here. We can shuffle them with the Spin Doctor. They're only going to see a single card, so they can't flatline. So we'll just res the Prana. We would like 3 credits. Now this prevents the first damage per instance. Do you think Prana is viable outside of PE? No. I don't think any deck does enough damage, and then all the cards that support Prana are way better in PE than anything else. Like that could have been a last click snare, which means you die to Mindscaping. That was incredibly risky. I think you're better off running archives there, maybe. I use my Audrey new face badge as the 5th click tracker. Do we want to shuffle back? No. We can throw the Sting out, I think. Well, we can use it to fast advance with the Moonpool. Otherwise, we can score Hybrid Release and get this Moonpool on the table. That's actually probably fine. They're not seeming to deal with the table, so Wage Workers in hand seems okay. So whatever card we throw out here, we can just get it back with the Hybrid Release. Okay. We have a Tattoo Bola for R&D. We can Hybrid Release to get a Moonpool back. That's actually kind of cool. And we can actually score this for free. I think I'm going to do that and just try and make the Prana scary. So we'll do the PE damage. We'll prevent it to gain 3 and get a counter here. And then we'll put the Moonpool on the table into a new remote server. Obviously, R&D is open, but we have to take some risks here. Again, this card will blow up at some point. We can score out a Sting and actually get this to 3 counters over the next 2 turns. And then it's kind of scary for them to interact. Bravado. Okay, we're running ice. So we don't have to res the Tattoo Bola here. If we don't, they get another credit. Yeah, we'll res it. Can't you pitch a Wage Worker and then score Hybrid to put it onto the table? Do we not think we want Wage Workers? I think we want the Moonpool because we want to be able to score out. But Wage Workers is fine too. I think I'm just going to play the Wage Workers on the table. There was a Fuji on top. Okay. So we do Fuji into Tattoo Bola. Wage Workers. That means next turn we can score it out with the Moonpool. That's a bit much, but we could do it. Oh, actually, we don't have to advance it. We can score it out with the cohort. Okay, so the idea is that with Wage Workers cohort, we can get the Fuji to 5, and we can score it, and then get the Prana Condenser and have a lot of money. Jailbreak going R&D. This is really risky with the Prana on the table. Again, now we know where 2 Fujis are, so the chance of us losing is a fair bit lower. They get a draw card here. If the Ken's on Hermes, it'll go better for the runner. I'm assuming Ken's on Hermes. Okay, so that's 1 damage. So we lose the last Fuji. Prevent? Yes. Oh, there's the second card access. Okay, so Prana's on 2. Ken's definitely on pinholes, though, so this Prana's, like, not that great. Kurapira, that's bad for us. We probably lose here. Are you coming to the CTK this weekend? Yes. Oh, sick. If they ran server 6, we actually do lose. Luckily, we win instead. So we need... Yeah, we win here. If they ran server 6, we lose. If they run this, they have to put 2 cards on the bottom and they die to the Fuji, we score out. Yeah, I don't have to play the CTK. I'm going to come out and just like play something super casual, I think. Oh, excuse me. I just want to play with my new poker chips. We have an event this weekend at... Is it at l'Abysse or l'Expédition Diogène? So data loop is pretty cool. Not a lot of ways that people are beating on encounter text. And Kurapira, if you want to break both subroutines, it's kind of expensive. It's a l'Abysse, okay. So if you want to break all of this, you can. But now you die to cohort Wage Workers Fuji. Okay. So this second subroutine doesn't matter because they're not tagged, but it means that you won't break this. You should play ace on low B kit. I don't like low B kit that much. All right, mandatory draw. Flip face up. Excuse me. Yeah, if they ran this remote server, we lose. Luckily, we don't. Res all, reveal my hand. Woo, there's a Jnet update. Yeah, I guess they don't really have a big reason to check the remote server on the basis that they need to deal with this card, and it's very unlikely we put a 3-pointer on the table. They didn't deal with our cohort. They didn't check any of our cards on the table, so if the wage workers went down too, we had to do triple advance moon pool. If that's the case, we can't afford to res the data loop, but we can still get it scored out, I think. It's gonna be tricky from this point on. Gotta play Hush. I hushed a face down anemone against P and felt so powerful. That's a really good play if you can get it. The problem is, like, it's really hard. Hushing Tattoo Bullet can be relevant as well, too. Yeah, it's a surprise. Yeah, Data Loop is really weird. It has, like, basically an enemy text, obviously. But every time they run, it runs it, which is really good for us. That might have gone poorly. Depends how good R&D holds up. But yeah, losing the early Fuji is, like, obviously the worst thing that can happen to you. Greasy thumb line last click into R&D. Like, if there's a snare there, the game could be just over. Thanks for the game. So there are risks sometimes you take, and I do think Jnet casual, the risk taking is a bit higher than in person. Cool. I don't know if we played the opening perfectly. I think we have to balance, like, icing up centrals for obvious reasons, and then trying to get something cooking in the remote server. Early House of Knives is really good. The Prana is fine too. Okay, this is probably not great for us, but at least we're holding the snare. Hey, thanks. You too. We have one Mavirus, but Lou's gonna be playing the Imp Engine, which is pretty difficult. No, we play Hush in top 16 of Worlds. I would have been good for so many matchups, especially for Ari. I don't think Hush actually is that good in the top 16 of Worlds. It's really good against BTL, but like BTL actually like overwhelms the Hush. I don't honestly think it was that great. This hand's okay. The problem is, like, we don't have ice, and so we just put stuff on the table. It's gonna get trashed by Lou. Lou's playing 47 cards. I'm assuming it's a trash forward package with like Audrey and stuff like that. So finding Garma Virus is really important. Earlier Genesis isn't great. The best thing we can do here is like Spin Doctor, draw, hopefully get an ice, and then do like Rashida Ice. I don't know if this is great. If we really need an ice to tie this hand together. Not like that. Every time I play P Mitosis, my stress level doubles. Yes. But like, what's cool about this list, and I'm not a big Mitosis enjoyer, is that it's not exactly Mitosis. It's threatening in different ways, not just like the highest stakes of like, is it 2 core damage and you lose the game, or is it 5-3? Which, like, not the biggest fan of that. Oh, that's not good. All right, we'll just put things on the table. Can't get your Hush overwhelmed by BTL if you just play Spree? I guess so. But I don't know. I think that matchup is actually pretty okay for you. I think I play better into P on Jnet casual than in person. In person, my brain gets fried. I do think people play maybe a bit too safe sometimes. Okay, steals for Genesis, takes a damage, loses a Buzzsaw. We have Vampirinasis, so the Buzzsaw is not that important. Early Hannah is a good check. They haven't trashed a card here, so the cohort's going to go down for a clickless plus -1 credit, draw a card. We really need ice. So if we stack the Hannah, like, we'd want to stop the Hannah from doing stuff, because the Hannah's obviously really, really good. So we need ice, not like that. We need ice, not like that. So we put Regenesis and discard a card. Like, that is a play pattern we can do. I don't love it. I don't think we believe in Table Snare. I guess we res the Tranquility and just put a Sting on top of it. This play kind of stinks, but versus R plus it is good. Nah, not really. Like, people aren't playing Funhouse. So if you hush a ping, you spend a click and a credit instead of a click and 2 credits. It's like kind of marginal. It's really good into BTL, like, don't get me wrong, but the problem is, like, you have to beat Mestachesso and Logjam and a tree line. Like, it's more than just one card. Even against Asa, possibly stop an Ablative for Gatekeepers underplayed. It's really hard to make it underplayed, though, right? Like, sorry, it's really hard to use it in Asa in a way that makes you feel really great. Like, a Gatekeeper being 6 strength, you still need a way to break the Gatekeeper. I think it oversells how easy it is to play Hush. Hit a steel skin. Yeah, we're getting pulled apart. You didn't believe in table snare? Or believes in you? I feel like that's forgetting all the times we put a table snare and hasn't done anything. We are getting absolutely owned. At least we've hit 2 breakers. It looks like this list is just actually on breakers. Stop it. Okay. What are you gonna do, snare me? Was that a last click run? Oh man, it's Arkham blue? What the hell, Fixby? How are we meant to win? We're so cooked. Everyone be cool. That just stops the draw though. Nice draw. Yeah, whatever. We're gonna be on 4 points. No shot they run archives. No shot. Fuck. Good game. All right, we lost. Are we allowed to concede or does it look really bad? Does it look like super BM when we concede? How BM does it look if we just concede? I don't know about that archives check. You're allowed to concede. Yeah, I'm out. Hey, GG. Yeah, it's not even close. We got nothing there. Yeah, that's bad. I think we need ice there for sure. But like, this is the worst case scenario. I've been playing this deck after watching one of your streams. Man, Arkham Anarch is really, really fun. Were there any agendas left in RD? Yeah, there's... Well, sort of. Honestly, not really. Do you have any agendas left already? Like 3? Like Sting, House of Knives, Hybrid, House of Knives, Sting, Blend the Water. Okay, because we have a lot of agendas, but there's like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 points and 37 cards. Like it is what it is. Yeah, on a coming. Yeah, I think we should say like, I think you have this before we concede. I think if we just concede and just say GG, it's not as nice as it can be. Well, thanks for the game. Yeah, that's pretty bad. If we got an ice down, I think we could maybe do something. The fact that they checked archives, like I think maybe Fixby was so far ahead that he feels like he can do it, but I'm surprised. I think it might have actually been better to not trash the Spin Doctor, because maybe leaving one face down card in archives is super suspicious, but like, I don't know. I was surprised that you check archives for a face down. I think to me, it just looks like we discarded a card that we don't want. And then this is a Rashida, but the deck's only on 2 Regenesis. Once you see 1, like, I guess you don't know. I'm surprised you go for the archives check. I wasn't sure. Yo, Fixby, how's it going? Yeah, the checking archives thing. I was surprised you did it. I think I shouldn't have spin doctored because it'll give you another card in hand and then maybe you do something here, but we're on 2 Regenesis and I don't know what the read there on archives is. I think the way that you do lose is like not checking archives though, but I'm not sure if you have to check one face down card with 1 on the table. But it turns out it's the right play there. I don't want to click for credit and didn't want to play my cards yet. Yeah, I'd assume you would draw up or run HQ because you didn't get Ludifier. Like, I'm assuming you would run HQ for a trash. But that was the worst case. Yeah, we lost. It was really, really bad. Maybe we should have mulliganed into an ice. I was just hoping we draw into an ice. I'm not sure how many ice we have in the deck. It's like probably 3. We have like 12 ice. It shouldn't have been that bad. Yeah, we have 12 ice. Yeah. Bad draw. Ah, it happens. I don't think we have a good matchup into that though. I think we needed to start really well or we're going to have a problem. Like, I think the Hannah comes down that early and we hit like 2 strike funds as quick as possible. And then the Onicom, like, I think we need a really good start. Yay, it's Alex. On tape, Alex has beat this deck before. So let's see if we can put up a fight. This is the world champion who played 90 minutes. Hey, you got 90 minutes? So the opening of that last game that Alex played on stream was pretty slow. Win this matchup. Okay. We can take piss break. Good luck, have fun. So, like, getting an ice on their remote server and an annoying ice early, like the Vampire Naso is huge. I like the Mindscaping start. House of Knives is the best thing to jam, but it's really hard with Arasana to jam in the remote server as quickly as possible. So it's really tricky. I'd have to actually look at Alex's deck list, which I don't think I've synthesized well enough to know what the pressure is. I think the deck actually struggles at dealing with sentries. I think it's on one Ika, one Fizzarum. I don't think it actually has a killer outside of those two. So maybe we can keep this and hope that Mindscaping does something good. You'll see the table snare coming. D did a table snare in the finals, but it was on 3 credits. It was sick. It would have been like not lethal if it fired, but it would have been pretty bad for Alex. Hey, Meether, this is World's Finals too. Yeah, the only sentry tech. Yeah, the sentry tech is actually pretty limited. The problem is our economy is limited. Luckily, Mindscaping should help. So best case scenario is like Mindscaping and just like putting anything behind a House of Knives. Or sorry, in front of it. Okay, shit. Some of the second House of Knives. Oh, that's not great. So we might be able to do Rashida Holloman and just put them on the table. I'm not a big proponent of just putting like House of Knives on the table. Will Alex check it? It'll probably look like a cohort. Probably want to deal with the cohort. So we can choose what to put on top of the deck. I don't want to give away points. This is looking a bit suspect. I don't know how we play out of this. We could have done another Mindscaping to dig deeper. Let's just see how this goes. And Botchus, yeah, Botchus will work, but like Botchus, you only can Botchus an enemy. You can't really Botchus an unseen, feel good about it. So top of our ID, safe HQ is a bit weird, but we did keep, I think. So you're not expecting this, especially after a Mindscaping. Okay, Onacom, 2 in the deck, finding that early is great. Finding the Holloman. So running last click into this, I don't think it's too scary. If Alex trashes the Holloman, though, we get Rashida. Is this a stream of Lester all agendas turn 2? The deck has a lot of agendas. Okay, so Rashida lives. We're pretty good about that. And this means that he can't creative commission. So we'll take this. Okay, here we go. Vampire Nasa. Very good. So we can do House of Knives Vampire Nasa. If you want to get through this, the cheapest way is like paying a lot of money with a Botulus. Or sorry, not with a Botulus, with a Fizzarum. So I'm okay with that idea. And then we'll just get a cohort on the table. So this seems pretty good. We can throw the Sting down in Archives. It's probably worth it. It is a deep dive deck, so just forcing damage on central server runs before the deep dive can happen is pretty valuable. Recreating the Worlds game? I know the lines. We'll see how this goes. Alex's money is pretty rough here. He needs a creative commission or to start working on environmental testing. That seems pretty slow. Okay, there's at least the testing. I don't know how explosive that's going to be. I think we're going to throw out the Sting. This will put us on 6 cards in hand. So we actually don't have to score the House of Knives. We'll see what we draw with this. Oh, Tattoo Bowl is good. Okay, so this looks like a Prana if we don't do anything with it, and I'm okay with that idea. So if we Mindscaping, we go up to 7 cards. We can install Tattoo Bola. He might play around Regenesis. Okay, Spin Doctor is really good. So now this really looks like a Regenesis play. Ideally, we cohort score the House of Knives and then just push the second House of Knives. And 2 House of Knives is very, very difficult to deep dive. Alex needs to stabilize. Imagine one beat for beat. Spin Doctor, we don't have to res it. So there's a really weird moment near the end of the finals where D reses a Spin Doctor, even though Alex can trash it. And I don't think it's a misplay. I think Alex can respond to it and like at that point simul-chip in what's it called? Simul-chip in some sort of money card like a Coalescence. So if D reses the Spin Doctor and doesn't RFG it, you can always respond. Okay, so we'll do cohort, show this a Sting, get it on the House of Knives. We'll do advance score, hit an Ika. That's pretty impactful. Now it's hard to face check without a Muse. And then we can push the next card, which will just be here in server 3. We have a Sting, which is 2 damage, a House of Knives is 3 damage, so Alex needs 3 cards to run safely. We're doing pretty good so far. I can't believe we matched into Alex on a nice Tuesday afternoon. This is sick. Now he's going to have a very explosive economy. Generally, Alex cracks fermenters on the turn that he's going to go in because he wants to trash a card so he can use Simulchip. We need to keep DJ gets all right. Okay, there's a Simulchip. So cohort here, we can get rid of the Fuji. That's probably the play we want to do so that we can set up the Regenesis. Okay. We are drawing all our agendas. So I think we just score out this House of Knives. Now it's really hard. We lost a trick shot because now every run is +2 damage. So it's really tricky to deal with some of the board states. We're not doing much here with the cohort. We'll probably cohort a cohort and then we'll push the Regenesis. Ideally, a second piece of ice would be great. But we're at the point here where Alex can get plus 15 credits over one click largely by like cracking this and then like installing a Muse. Can't wait to read Arzon's deck list. If he wants to publish it, seems to have been an interesting journey to get those deck lists. Yeah, he's done a lot of iterating. I know he's been pretty busy after Worlds, but I'm excited to see his deck list because he's done a lot of work. You can just watch this stream over the last couple of months and you just always see Alex playing different versions of this, tuning it all the way back from like NPC Boston, if I'm not mistaken. It's really cool. Hey, Mondi, by the way. All right. There's a Botchless on a Tattoo Bola. We're happy about that. Okay, so Botchless is here. Spree can put onto the Vampirnasa. I think we're okay pushing the Regenesis. The other option here is we can Purge. If we Purge, it brings a Fermenter back, but I don't think the money's going to be that important when environmental testing is definitely going off next turn. So if we do Tranquility to Regenesis, it looks like, well, we know where the Holoman is, so it looks like it's either a Tranquility, a Mavirus, or a Crisium. So that would mean that it's a Mavirus in server 3, which is something that Alex has to respect if we do Regenesis Tranquility. Even just putting a Prana on the table is annoying. Because now we can create Prana money with House of Knives. We're not protecting it. We might want to actually use Spin Doctor before we cohort because we don't have great cohort options here. And we have to remember we can just score this hybrid release out. I'm assuming that Alex isn't on Clot. I don't think he has access to Clot. Oh, fucking burner shit. All right, if we res Tattoo Bola, it doesn't really do anything. Man, playing around burner is really hard. I think we just let this happen. Action. The issue is he's probably going to run Archives. If we res the Tattoo Bola, uses counters. It puts us down to 10. We can res the Prana. Huh. The lists are, no write-ups, but the lists are available on the website. Res Spin, I want to res Spin after because I'm assuming Alex is going to put the gen on top of R&D and then we can res Spin for the shuffle. The other option is we res Spin here, so if he puts on the R&D, we shuffle anyways and we don't add it to hand. Because I think he's going to put one of these on top of the deck. Not on the bottom. Okay, thinking. So I'm not sure if we res Spin. Spin helps with the burner. Yo, Kira, how's it going? It's one or the other. It's either we res Spin now and see what gets burnered, or we use Spin to recover to... Because like Spin means there's just a full shuffle. I think we'd rather have a full shuffle than to draw the cards that he's putting back on top of the deck. Can get an ice for Tattoo. Yeah, that's the best case. Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that was huge. It eats the Botchless, so there's no more Spree shenanigans. But I just wanted to res this maybe for the Spree. And this gives us 4 credits, which we need. Okay, so now here we can go for either Prana credits. I don't think we really need credits. Or we can go and try and take the Deep Dive out of hand. I think we'll try with 1 and see what happens. I'm just going to ask for access. Obviously, Arzon's accessing here. Okay, Euler. Okay, that's a good hit. Reminder not to flip Fuji with cohort Regenesis too? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'll try and keep that face down. Fonder wins his game. Does Arzon have to give the championship belt? No, he did it better. He did it much better. So hybrid release Tattoo Bola on the bottom of R&D. That's really cool. Knows that there's a Fuji in hand. The Fuji's pretty safe though, because you need like 5 hit points when we have House of Knives. I honestly don't know what to do with the Prana. Right now we're actually taxing cards from hand, and I feel like that's a bit more important when he has 3 copies of Deep Dive, and we don't want to lose to it. He can't Deep Dive this turn though with 2 House of Knives. This is once per run, not once per turn. This card's really cool. It's annoying as heck, but oh my god, it's a fun card to make every paid ability window matter, but in an important way, especially with like the Arsana dance. So he lost an Oiler. So he can cheat through a Vampire Nasa cheaply by breaking the Oiler in for 1 turn. You break it for 2 credits. And Simulchip is already online because not only did we lose the Bodulus, we lost the Fermenter. Gauss is coming down. Oh my. This seems good for us. This seems really good for us. Turn a card face up. Not the Fuji. Can't throw a card out because it would turn off the Regenesis text. We're on game point. We can win next turn with the hybrid in hand. He knows where 1 hybrid is, but like we're winning next turn. I think we do the Tranquility and we draw. We hit Creative Commission, Arkham drew. Hey, Jai, how's it going? Nice deck list of the week, huh? Okay. So we just have to hold this hybrid release and we win on 7. Diesel draw 4. Alex needs to like find this hybrid release. He knows the one's on the bottom of the deck. He has to run this. If we res this, we drop 7 to 4. I'm gonna ask for action. Okay. I think we want to res this to keep him busy. We can't res both of these, so I think we're okay here with the 1 and 4 on HQ. Should have res a Prana, I think, to give a distraction. I don't think it really matters that much. You're right, though, but with Anacom, we probably just want the Prana instead. No, that's good. We actually need the money more than we need the damage. I think you're right about that. Oh, that's bad for us. That's really bad for us. Uh-oh. We made maybe an Arasana misplay. Yeah, I like that spark. I think if we res this, it might keep him slightly busy. So he's on 11 credits. Peach of Shaw means he's going to run HQ 17 times. He can die to Fuji if we start using the House of Knives. Still has to break this thing. Oiler comes in. So it's the 1 hybrid release. The other one's on the bottom of the deck. I think Alex hasn't broken yet. Did you break? Hidden counter? Oh shit, it's on me. Might be. All right, breaks it all for 2. So we don't really have a reason to res this stuff. The cool thing about the Peach of Shaw, if you run this back, you actually get +1 hit point, which is kind of sick. All right, that's 4 credits. Now he's saying that we can't res this, which is like technically accurate. So if he runs HQ, we do 2 damage. And puts him on 3 cards. If he hits the Fuji, he can't run again easily. Anacom has already triggered on the Diesel this turn. Yeah, I think we res the Prana to deny the 1 damage. It'd be pretty good for us. No house? No, we don't have a real reason to. This is neutral on cards. Like now we'll do the house. Because if he commits to Axis, he won't flatline because of Steve. So this is a 1 and 4. Hey, Chrissy. Twirls mustache. Don't we res now since he's on 1 credit? We can. It's 7. Oh, actually, hold on. We could do Prana Condenser. No, it's pretty bad to res the Vampire Nasa, though, because he breaks it for 2. I don't think we want to do that. So we hit a Diesel. We hit that. So now if he hits the Fuji, he won't die because he gets Steve. Isn't Prana House a bank of money? We don't need money. We only need 2 credits. Fuck, get out. Nice. All right, he found the 1 hybrid release. That's pretty bad for us. Just like Outworlds. Steve for HP there. Yeah, 100%. But you need to find the 1 hybrid release there. World champ difference. He doesn't have 2? Yeah, he does have 2 because of Steve. So now Blood in the Water, he's on 3 cards in hand. If we did the House of Knives on the server 3 run, it actually might have been impactful. But now all we have to do is make him annoyed. Like he still has a lot of work to do. And if we sneak through, we know the last card is on the bottom of the deck. So I think we actually do shuffle here. And we put back in Sting and the Holloman because that's how we can win. But we need to get the hyper release, which we know is on the bottom of the deck, not into the bottom of the deck. And we just want to put any 1-pointer behind this. Cohort, yep. Just need to see more cards. Okay, table snare is great. This Vampire Nasa is a liability unless we can res it. Luckily, we can. So Mindscaping. That's really good. Mitosis is really impactful. We'll put this on top of the deck because it's safe. I think we do Spin Doctor Mitosis. Because he has to consider checking this every single turn. Not only with the cohort, but without it. He doesn't have the money to rank Vampy, right? 2 credits? I think he did. If he didn't, we could have done res the Vampy off of Prana. I'm pretty sure he had 2 credits. I think he had 4 credits there. But maybe if this Steve, he didn't. Maybe you're right.Maybe we could have resed it. He doesn't have 2. Yeah, if that was the case, that when he's approaching here, we res the Prana and we do -1 and then gain +3/+3, which puts us at 5 more credits, so we can maybe res the Vampire Nasa. That probably was the correct line there, because we get the money back. Yeah, I didn't realize his money was bad. We'll res this. I don't think I care about this. He ran with 1. Okay, yeah. So we messed up. We could have protected it. That's pretty impactful. So not threatened about the card in the remote server, but it could be the win. I think we just do install advance to Fuji, because he has to deal with Vampire Nasa, Mitosis, Fuji, and House of Knives. The other options we do Anemone, Anansi. I think we just do Anemone, Fuji, advance, and then he has to deal with cohort. Huh, that's interesting. One of 2 things has to happen here. Either we do install advance the Fuji. We hit the Diesel, so he doesn't have it. Yeah, it's either IA Fuji or IA Fuji Anemone. IAA Fuji is really good because we have a Mitosis, which does 1 damage unless we have to purge. Fuji does 4 damage and we House of Knives. I think that's just the safest play. I think he has to deep dive here. It's an easy win. There's some risks here. Like, I think if he has the next Diesel, he does like draw 4, he can maybe contest it. It's not gonna be great for him, and then we probably have a window to push the second one. But yeah, this seems like the best play. He largely has to deep dive here. I don't think he can stop this from happening. We also have a Spin Doctor, so we're not too weak to burner stuff, which is great. And again, if we top deck the hybrid release or a Moonpool, we're in a pretty good spot. Because with the Moonpool, we will actually need Moonpool in another agenda, but we have the Regenesis in hand. We can Moonpool out as long as we have another agenda. Yeah, exactly. Even this is not a kill. It sets up next turn really easily. This is where like the game plan of this deck is so flexible. Like, what do you want to put in the server? It depends on board state so heavily. Like, sometimes it's just install advance. Sometimes it's protect the Prana. Sometimes it's like push the little points. They run archives, you advance only once to turn off cohort, delay a turn. Yes, that's the risk. If we do install advance, he has a chance of running the cohort or running archives. He does. I'm not sure if he knows what this is, but it's a risk we probably don't want to take. We top deck a Moonpool, we can get back from there, but it's just really difficult. Deep dive decks needs reprise. I don't think you have the clicks for it usually, though. Deep dive doesn't seem very likely to win here unless he hits a Fuji from hand. No. And even then, he'll have a problem. But he has a big incentive to run HQ any turn because of Steve anyways. So we have to watch out for that. Like, there's a chance he can do something where he runs HQ and pulls, like, Trick Shot, Burner, or something. I guess Burner doesn't make a lot of sense, but, like, some hard fork. Like, Muse, Ika? I don't know if that's good enough either. But it's hard to believe that he won't run HQ. Okay, 6 cards in hand. Needs to find a Diesel, I think. I think he's on 2 Stone Ship. Slightly better than drawing for cards. Anika hasn't triggered, so we have to remember. Again, this is 3 damage, this is 4 damage, we have 6 damage. Deep dive is too many clicks, Hushik reprise is where it's at. Yeah, at that point you just play like 20 or whatever. Credit? I think he's sending it. Interesting. Action. So he doesn't have a Simul chip, so he's probably gonna let the Vampire Nasa fire. Which means, do we go for the House of Knives now? He's not installing anything, so we have priority. So here, we can just take cards out of hand. This should be a good game. We don't really need a Prana. I don't think we need a House of Knives here. Is there a reason to House of Knives before or after the Vampire Nasa? I don't think so. So he can't break all of it. Fire all? 2 net damage drops to 2 cards. Okay, so he loses nothing. You knife after? Wait, he has enough cards. We don't lose. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's gonna survive with a card in hand. Wait, this is not great. Assuming that one of these is an event. We hit a deep dive. So we have to res the Mavirus. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is not lethal. I guess we just score the next Fuji. Pinhole is good. Okay. I don't know if we're guaranteed to win from this point. Do we prana any of these? Oh my god, we should have prana'd these. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my god, we should have prana'd. Prana would have probably been lethal. Wait, thinking. Andre uses Prana challenge and boss. Okay, hold on. So he's on 6 cards in hand. He's going to discard a card anyways. So we could have got 1 counter, 2 counter, 3 counter, 1 damage, 4 counter, 5 counter. You can't score the next Fuji. They win before they die. No, I'm aware. No, I counted that. Does he know what this is? No, he doesn't, so I can't tell him what this is. Shit. So if we prevent the damage, we get this to 1, 2, 3. It's 2 clicks though. Like it's probably right to do this just to like do 1 nuke and then just push the Regenesis. Hey, good morning, good evening. Sorry, yeah, how's it going? Piss. Yeah, that's pretty bad for us. We saw the damage. Sorry? Still thinking. I'm thinking. Yeah, so if we okay, so what happened if we res this? We would have been on 1 counter, 2 counter, 3 counter, 4 counter, 5 counter. He'd be in 5 cards in hand. So we can get him to no cards in hand and just push the Regenesis. That's tricky. Yeah, we've already seen the damage from house, so we can't undo that. But I think we just let this happen now. Lost the Physarum. Okay, it's on 1 card in hand. So if we top deck the Blood in the Water, we have it. So we're just gonna, I think, do an enemy Regenesis. I think you're fine way you can install an enemy Regenesis, yeah. Okay, so we need to hide this Fuji. Oh, we win. Not even close. GG. There's a... Cool. So we also get a flatline too. Oh, the deep dive survived the hand. That's really fun. All right, only 24 minutes. Yeah, I don't know if it's right to res it. Have we put down a table snare yet? No, we haven't. We had the 1 snare in hand. I think we just threw it out. Oh no, we still have it. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, getting the cards out of hand was important. We can't string the next Fuji because the text doesn't matter because you win before the win score text or Jinteki PE text happens. So we have to like top deck, and I guess there was good options there. We needed to find either the moon pool and another agenda, or we needed to find the 1 hybrid. I think the turn that where he ran server 3, if we did the 2 House of Knives there, it was hard to run HQ, and we could actually protect HQ. That was probably a bit better play too, because we could protect HQ so he couldn't go for the safe steal for the hybrid release. At the end of the day, he might have still taken that risk, and it would have paid off because he accessed the same card. Since the last click through, it might be fun to deny me the outcome, try and get the credits and clear the hand the following turn. Yeah. I think I needed to res the Prana on the Regenesis Fuji to maybe keep you busy from sniping the 1-pointer in HQ. Yeah. Yeah, running HQ there might have worked out. Yeah, I think we res the Prana, we'd have slightly more money. I think I goofed that. When you ran HQ, I could have twice into Prana to get the money to res Vampy. I'd have to check if that was worth it, but it does damage. The new world champion, thank you. You're gonna get Bernard? It's okay. We have a spin doctor. Or PE wins worlds. This is like a fun PE deck. Like, shout out to QTM and the Loud deck. Like, this PE deck is kind of cool. Like, it gives you a full bunch of agency. It's not grinder. It's about like, okay, on this board state, they have these many cards in hand, these many credits. How can I capitalize on it? And it's actually one of the more like proactive, flexible decks compared to like, you know, linear game plan PD. It's kind of sick. Yeah, I missed that you were sub 2 because resing Vampy into Oiler feels real bad on the Oiler turn. Yeah, I missed that our Alex was running on 1 because then we could have res the Vampy. It's one of the few P decks I can say is actually good. Well, I think it's like the thing it does is a bit more healthy. Like it doesn't feel like you're going for the grind out. Prana's trigger being whenever is sometimes really wild. It's incredibly wild. Whenever you would do 1 or more damage, yeah. And it's 1 or more. So the thing is like you only prevent 1 of the damage. So when Vampire Nesta fires, you get 1 net damage and 1 counter, which is like the best. Yeah, Mushin. I like the Shoe Flower version with the Bladder and the hostile architecture was maybe a bit more grinder. That's definitely a bit more grinder. I don't know which one's better into the meta, but this one feels like you have a lot more plays than just being like, I'm going to spam out and hope it holds on. Yeah. So go be the champ. Thank you, Captain. How's it going? I misplayed a couple times pretty bad. We got through it. You're actually better off co-hosting their Genesis than installing with a 2-1 score. On the turn that we went for it, because we went to pull back the moon pool, right? Oh yeah, you're right. Alex knew there's a Fuji. I forgot that he knew that was in there. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, the early start, he found the Holloman, didn't find the Rashida. That's a 50-50. That's a huge difference. The game did go on for 90 minutes total. Shot, how's it going? Trickshot making players the hyper acid version. Shot, are you traveling into Singapore Nats? That's pretty sick. Mm-hmm. But I had the hard read that you always run the first one. So, like, skill? It's totally joking. Yo me. If you know what your opponent does, the game's so much more. Okay, never mind. Alex randomized it. He's not giving us anything. Not giving us the ability to get into his head. Flying out in a day and we'll be flying for another day. Yo, safe travels. Hope you have a good time. I don't know if you've been to that area of the world. Hopefully you have a great time. I have no doubt you will. Wiggle my mouse around between them and click the one. Yo, that's sick. Mouse mover.exe. He's visiting me? I know. You had the hard read on the boundary conditions of the universe. Again, thanks again, mate. Always a pleasure. Cool. I am a corp. Singapore Nats next year? Oh, I don't know if Jai knows. I think Jai must have applied for some sort of mega city thing, I'm guessing. Lady Duckland. I don't know that name. Kit. Ooh, I like this hand. Rip Nats. Hey, thanks, you too. All right, we got good old HQ snare, 1 of 1. Beautiful. Kit can be okay at dealing with assets. The early data loop is fine. Like having this innermost is kind of nice because then Lobby has to break it. And you don't break all the subroutines on this unless you pay extra. So that's kind of nice into Lobby. We're assuming it's Lobby Soming. It could be the other one, the stealth one. We have Tranquility early. That's pretty hard for Kit to trash. Prana on pretty expensive cohort too. So we could just put 2 on the table and see what happens. I'm okay with that. I think if she spends 4 trashing the Tranquility, whatever. Oh, Rashida too. You want to just full acid spam? When you do a start like this, it's like really hard to read what the deck is. Right? Like, what kind of deck is this? This looks like Cambridge P. It's like Gia Hands Arcology. Diesel, love to see it. I think Jai deserves to have a secret bonus nats. Hyperbaric. Okay, so it is stealth. This is rigging up. This is the stealth big hyperbaric. So our ice is going to be broken pretty well. That's kind of nice. I forget what the win con in this deck is. If it's deep dive or just trick shot. And I think it is on stealth. So it's probably on twinning. Early trick shot here. Now where this goes is really important because we're going to lose one of these for free, but you actually can straight flatline to this. If it's like double Fuji, you're cooked Fuji into sting, you're cooked. We have the 1 snare, but this is a risky run to some extent of the word risky. Gonna have to make the hard decision if I do Europe World's Vacation or Asia Cons Mega City Vacations next year. That's not an easy choice. Just losing a Spin Doctor, losing a cohort too. Okay. So when you find the good card, sometimes you're a bit more scared the other cards on the table are not the cards that you want to touch. Like the stings. Yeah, twinning because of Mantle. That's what I'm assuming. And maybe even Taka. That's a big hyperbaric. When did she boost? Okay, before she saw cards. That's legit. So we're going to break lock here. She saw that we have a cohort. We have drawn the 1 Tattoo Bola. We've also drawn the 1 Blood in the Water, which is a bit annoying. So how do we set this up? Now, getting the Tranquility, we ideally want to put things on the Tranquility that are not like the Prana. The Prana generally sticks for a bit. She's only on 2 credits. So we could do Data Loop Prana. Then we could do cohort on top of the Trank and res the Trank. The other idea is that we can just stabilize with the cohort first. So we can do like Tattoo Bola, server 1, res the Tranquility, put the Prana, put the cohort. And then just build the data loop server. I think that's okay. We're going to get Bernard. Like, we have to worry about that at some point. I just want money here. We have enough cards. Do you have to ice this up? She has 2 credits. 1 trick shot down. Huh. Data loop usually goes on our remote server. I just don't want to put it on this server. So I guess we just do this on HQ and put a Prana out there. She trashes it. She trashes it. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to close the door. Ooh, Parisha. She can take down the Prana if she wants. If she does, we're going to get a cohort. This was our decoy Prana, but that's a really good start. 2 credits per turn shouldn't be that hard for her to get. And so here we have to throw something out. I think we throw it, like, is it blasphemy to say the snare? I think it's, snares are win condition. I don't see how we're going to use the Prana anytime soon, but it is like the best card. That's a cool thing about snare. You find 1 in the bin, you're scared about the other 2. It's perfect. All right, set up. Anemone, Mavirus, both very good for the Prana that we've kept. So we can put the Mavirus on top of the deck. That's fine for us. We can also put the cohort there. That's also fine. And we can do data loop in our remote server with Prana. If she runs that, we can forward the res, the data loop. It'll put cards out of hand. She's only on 3 cards. Blood and Water, I didn't even check whether it was like worth scoring out. But if she hits into the data loop, we might actually have a Blood in the Water score. Always important to Sharpie 3 on every copy snare. I do 2. I think 2 is really fun. But I guess 3 forces the most amount of misinformation. We've released 1 pig with the number 4. Ooh, Into the Depths. Very cool. So we'll see what she does with this. Either it's charge, probably just gain 4 credits. But we're going to res the data loop, and so it should fire. She's going to have the money to deal with the Prana, that's for sure. But this means that she will not have that many cards in hand, so we get closer and closer to Blood in the Water doing something. Oh, we probably will just throw ourselves forward with the Mavirus, but this is where maybe the Tranquility Home Grid we want to keep for the server that we actually install things on top of, because it's not doing enough work here. 1 snare, 1 new snare, 1 alt Liga snare. One foil snare. Writing 4 is a transcendental. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Forgot to click that. So it is a code gate. So you don't have to break it. Or sorry, you don't have to boost anymore. So we're going to put 2 cards on top of the deck. It's funny that into like P, you actually protect your cards. So the cards that you don't want to lose the damage, you can put on the top. I'll fire if you want. So see, if she grabs a card from her deck here, she does shuffle. So the cards that she puts there are not going to be there anymore. She just took the 4. So 2 cards in hand, 3 cards in hand. We have a 3-2 here. Let's probably we can push out here. The virus is interesting, but this seems a bit better. So we can start with the Spin Doctor, and then we can do Blood in the Water in the remote server with an enemy in front of it. That seems pretty good. At some point, she'll contest this. The other options that we can do Sting into Anemone. I think that's a bit better because if we score this out, we might be able to score it out fast, and then Blood in the Water, maybe even on the same turn. We're just hoping R&D holds a bit, but we're just trying to make the game about the remote server. Andre's been forgetting the counter button? Yes, I have been. I don't know why today worse than others. Imagine if we could make cold foil snares. I really wish that you could actually like send good information on how to foil up so that it's not just like when you print a foil card from NBC, the whole card is foiled. Like I want to, you know, make a nicer foil. I think we'll turn up the Mav. So we can do score. Hit a Palangi. Hit a Pressure Spike. Okay. Hit a Creative, I think. Or did she play Creative last click? She played Creative. So here we can put something in the remote server. We don't have that many credits. So I think we're just going to Mindscaping here. I wish that we could push the game forward, but we're unfortunately not. But we want cards in hand to fill the cohort. Okay. So we'll just put the Anansi on top of the deck. Vampire Nasa is actually probably the worst because of Hyperbaric. So we want the Anansi. It's slightly more work. But unfortunately, actually breaking it for 4 credits is kind of a steal, right? There's the Onicom. Dirty Laundry is going to see the top of R&D, I assume, unless she wants to finally deal with this, which that's good that she does that. Cohort's been a lot of work for us. I don't know if the Tranquility she can afford to take it down. She has 6 credits to trash with, so that's technically everything if you want to, but you can't use Pre-Share credits on Trank. So that's a good way that we can install Moonpool for very cheap. Are we throwing something out? Yeah, maybe we should keep the Vampire Nasa because we want to throw out the Vampire Nasa to draw. Oh, we don't have a cohort. Never mind. Making up problems. Okay, so Moonpool on top of server 1. We probably need a bit of money. We could also do cohort. She trashes it for free. But we're not doing points. We have to set her a Regenesis. She hasn't respected Regenesis in Archive, so I don't know if she will on a following turn. Okay. Stall advance. That's a hard thing to deal with, but we can't really set that up this turn. So I think we just put this on server 1 to gain 2, and then we'll just ice up R&D. We'll see if she checks this Trank. Well, the Parisha can make sense, but this might be just like a Sting or something we're setting up to do damage. This is the first game we've interacted with Blood in the Water, and it's pretty frightening. This feels a bit slow. All right, she's running here. Tattoo Bola will get the swap. She deals a Fuji in a bad spot. This also eats the encounter for kids, so now if you face check into a Nazi, it's a bit scary. So it's unfortunately Vampire Nasa. I wish we had another Tattoo Bola to keep infinite. I'm super surprised the deck only runs a single Blood in the Water. Yeah, it's cool, but like it's such a dead card if it's not, you know, exactly what you need it. Oh, F Fuji. Order doesn't really matter. Oh, we did hit the after image. I think this deck actually, it might be on Simulchip, but I think Rahi was talking about how there was some, you know, decision to be made. That was our play next turn. That feels pretty bad. I don't think we res the cohort here. Seems like one of the most important cards. It is, but it's like such a brick, right? Like players play around it. It's been a dead card in our hand. So I can kind of see it. Okay, we have the Tattoo Bolas. Like, do we want to install advance this? I don't think so. Okay. Holloman's really good. Putting this on top of R&D means we know where it is, and we can always shuffle with the Spin Doctor. We can also just put a Moonpool on top of R&D. And we'll keep this here for now. Tattoo Bolas are really good, especially in front of the Anansi, because it forces her to get her her killer, and that actually might do something, because obviously Kit's ability gets eaten by the Tattoo Bola. So putting her Tattoo Bola in the right spot is going to be really important. She's going to struggle maybe to deal with sentries. I don't know if the deck is on a simul chip or not. It's been a while since I played this deck, but I know it had like limitations with recursion. Okay, so the top of the deck is a moon pool. This isn't a Nancy. So if we res this for 8, we go down to 4, and she breaks it for 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't love it. I think we're just going to let this go through. I don't even think we have to shuffle anything back. She's actually sitting with 2 cards in hand, which is incredibly risky. Like, she just dies to Sting. I'm surprised she's not nuking before this. This is very risky. She dies to Fuji. She dies to Sting. We know where the snare is. I don't want to shuffle it back. Let's just send it. Fuji kill. Yeah, the problem is we know the top of the deck is a moon pool, so we might want it to shuffle. Oh, wow. Okay, so she trashed Rashida. So then this is coming down. She has 4 to trash, so the Tranquility might actually get pulled apart, but that was a very risky run, if you ask me. More risky than she needed to do, especially with the Nuka button. Maybe she really didn't like the cards in her hand, but I think that's frightening. Never respect snare. It's a 1 of snare too, right? Like, it's an open deck list problem. Okay, so she should be on 5 cards in hand, so it's harder to do the Fuji push with an enemy Holloman. Dirty Laundry, Archives, that's fine. Find our snare. Purge. Why not shuffle snare to try and win? It's 1 in whatever. Like, I'm not a huge proponent of it. We're going to get more value of the Spin Doctor, specifically like shuffling back the other Spin Doctor and other stuff like that. Oh, we just need to get this Regenesis in the bin. Sorry, the Fuji in the bin, because we have Holloman and Regenesis, and Holloman Regenesis works. It's 4, 5, 6, 7. So what would if we do nothing here and just discard? It might be wrong. We might need to jam a bit more, but I think I could draw once here. And it's either we tattoo Bola HQ, or we put the Wage Breakers on the table. I'm okay with this. Roger, install Regenesis. I think now with the Holloman, we don't have to do it. She's not going to have Claude, I don't think. I only respect snare when playing an event. I never respect the player who puts snare in every deck. Like the HB snare. Yo, Changeling, how's it going? I died against this deck piloted by Riel on a 5-card hand with a trick shot and saw snare and Fuji. Yes. I've seen people like Archives run die with 7. All right, this is Into the Depths. We can't afford to res this. This with 6 cards in hand. Whatever. I don't want to shuffle back with a Spin Doctor. Ace HQ then win next turn. We can't win next turn. DJ for Steve. Okay, so now there's HQ pressure, but we're going to be able to get up to 5 points. Hit Hyperbaric, add a Fuji. So now we're trying to win off of the Blood in the Water. This is where the Tattoo Bull is really important because we've gone low on credits, and she also has to deal with this Holloman. So Steve is a lot of pressure for us. Top of R&D, we don't care. She's on 3 cards. This won't be lethal, but if it gets cards out of hand, it's really annoying. Like, that Sting is really good for us because now she has to figure out if she's going to lose the Blood in the Water or not. So now we can do... We're actually short credits to win. We just need slightly more credits here, if I'm not mistaken. Holloman's good there. Right, because if we do install, place 4, we're 1 credit short of winning this turn. So we just need to keep her busy. So we could put this on R&D credit. I think that's fine. It's all about the last Fuji. We don't know where it is. This makes it seem that we don't have it in HQ, but if this Holloman survives, well, it depends on the Blood in the Water, right? It depends on her cards in hand. How's the runner getting past loot this turn? I don't know. She might not be able to. Okay, so if we resist an enemy, we go down to not lethal anymore, but it takes cards out of hand, and that's actually worth the credits. Is Tattoo better there? I want to do the infinite Tattoo swap. Tattoo might be better there. So Burner, that's a big hit, and the Twinning is a big hit. So she breaks us for 1, but now she has 1 card in hand, so she can't really safely access. The Into the Depths have been pretty good. So she dies to most cards. She wins on Fuji. If she draws, we can do install advance Blood in the Water. Are we saving Holloman? Yeah, but if we spend the money on this, it takes cards out of hand, so it's kind of neutral, right? Like now we have an install advance. We could have considered shuffling back with Spin Doctor. It might have been correct because we can lose to the 1 Fuji in like 15 cards. So she needs to run HQ here to have a chance. And if that's the case, okay. So we have options here. She can't break the Tattoo Bola. She actually dies if there's an enemy here. But we res the Tattoo Bola. We can do credit, install, advance. Yeah, so this is a guaranteed win. That was lethal if it's an enemy. Yeah, getting cards out of hand matters as much. So we just do credit, server 5, advance, score. Good game. Woof. Hey, close one. Thanks for the game. Yeah, she took a bunch of runs on R&D that were a bit more risky than I think you need to be, but maybe you just have to be a bit risky into this matchup because it seems like a tricky one for sure. It's all about that last Fuji, which is a couple cards down. Obviously, that's totally random. And then we have ways out. We can win off of hybrid release pairs. We can win off just getting Holloman credits. We might have mismanaged our money a bit. If we just got our Tattoo Bolas running, it might have been the most important thing. We could have Hollomaned out. We also have a Moon Pool option. Hey, cheers. Yeah, P is both exciting and super stressful. Yeah. I think the biggest thing you can do to get better against playing against P is just run archives. Like there's certain circumstances where you can't run archives because if there's like 2 face down cards and it's like a sting into a Fuji, it's really bad for you. But if you just make sure there's not flipped cards in archives, you can't lose. Because I think the majority of times that players lose this matchup, it's because there's a 4-point swing. Out of nowhere, a 4-point swing. And if you just make sure archives is clean and spend time doing that, it's probably worth the time. This is why you only need 1 Blend the Water. Yeah, I agree. The other ones are bricks. And they're really bad in your opening hand. It's very, very, very bad. It's also kind of like Fuji. Like if you lose the early Blend the Water and they get 2 points without additional text on it, like they can win in 2 agenda steals, and that's not great for you. Even if they steal a single Fuji, there's a chance they still have to steal like 4 more agendas. Cool. Man, vibes based. Just fun. Just fun. Like just do whatever the board state says you should be doing. I'm so surprised I'm enjoying a P deck as much as this one. Alice, woo, that's fun. We can throw out cards in archives and force Alice to interact with them. That can work for us. A lot of times Alice is actually running HQ pressure. I've seen like Chastushkas. Thanks, you too. So it's probably in our best interest to just do credit, Vampiranaus on archives and say, what are you going to do? Hey, good game, Lady Duckland. I need to sleep with a PD deck now. If you want to grab this one, it's like, it's a bit trickier to play. It's not like Traps P where you can just put stuff on the table and sometimes the runner flatlines. But it's really, really fun. You have a lot of flexibility. We'll be sad to see P leave. Will you be sad? Has been like Snare such a staple corp in the game? I haven't, but I think the majority of time where P's been good, it's been good in a way that is like kind of gross. I'm glad that this P deck doesn't feel gross, but I think you can build a P corp. Like, can you just rebuild PE and says whenever an agenda scored or stolen, flip a card face up in archives to do the damage? Like, I think you just have to make it so that the opponent has to work more. We've seen way too many PE decks in the history of the game where it's just like, oh, damage happens. Too bad. I think the cool thing about Loud is the same board from Runner PV can look completely different for Corp. Yes. Yeah. I think if I don't have open deck lists, I don't know how to play into this deck. Price hits Strike Fund, Keiko, DZ Optimizer, and another price. So DZ's coming down. Just Conduit. Whoa! I don't always think this is a great start. You can flatline really quickly. Sometimes we don't mind multi-axis when we're doing this. Now, the reason why like committing to a line like this is really difficult is like, what happens if we put an ice on R&D? And the answer is you've spent a lot of money on a card that's kind of useless. So a lot of times like the open Conduit line, let alone against Personal Evolution, can be pretty rough. So we'll see how this converts for our opponent. That's a fair bit of influence out of a 50 card deck already, right? Like if we just put an enemy on R&D, can you afford to do the thing that you want to do? I don't know. So we'll put this in R&D, we'll credit, we'll put the Prana out here. The Prana is actually kind of useless because we're short on credits, but if our opponent runs into the Vampiranaus first, we can do something. We're always going to keep a card in hand. Like if they run through Vampiranaus and fire Alice, like we can feed a Fuji and maybe just win. Oh shit, it's crew. That's okay. We're going to make every Jinteki ID care about face down in archives? No, but like I just wish that PU had a bit more, you felt like you could play around it a bit more. I don't know. It's a very simple identity in terms of this text, and it's obviously mattered for such a long time, and that's a huge thing for this card. Again, it's kind of cool. Raindrops. Well, if you run R&D, you just die. So they're not even safe into, oh, that sucks. probably good game. It depends if they have steel skins in hand. But like if it's a Sai Santan, they probably flatline as well. So we're just going to res this. If they survive, they survive. But if they don't, they don't. Divide and Conquer Alice is a fun concept. I really don't like that concept because Alice is like in some ways the worst ID to put archives runs in because they ice up archives as soon as possible. Like maybe you're better to put in a surprise runner, but at least it makes running archives make more sense, which is a problem with Alice. Like as soon as they put an ice that costs 3 to break, running archives sucks. All right. Look at the top 5. So we're going to put a sting on top of the deck for obvious reasons. So we'll put Mindscaping we want soon. Okay, hold on. So we might not have to be thinking through this that hard. So Wage Workers, Vampire Nasa, House of Knives, Mindscaping, Sting. They can't pay 2 to draw 1. So we'll draw a card. Oh, I messed this up. I messed it up really bad even. Turns out it's fine. No, they still flatline. GG. They had a steel skin in hand. In fact, they had, yeah, 1 steel skin. Yeah, that's a hard one to run. Yeah, it's a tricky one. If you have 2 credits, you can maybe tank it. But if you have a 0, you have far fewer choices. Thanks for the game. Yeah, that's rough. That just happens. That even happens at top tables, more often than not with Banhar. But like, yeah, this card, if you don't break the subroutines, it does a lot of damage for you. I think I messed up the ordering though. We should have put the top of the deck to be the Sting. I was trying to draw the House of Knives, not the Sting. This should have been at the top. So if they went for the Axis on top of all that sort of stuff, they could have still flatlined. They might have actually wanted to jack out. I think it's strictly correct to jack out after Anansi fires because we can put a Fuji on top of the deck. We can put a Sting on top of the deck. We can put a Ganked on top of the deck. Shout out to Derek. So after someone fires an Anansi and lets you look at the top of R&D, don't Axis. It's almost always strictly wrong. All too often, Alice becomes a blank idea if archives cannot be put to interesting uses. And I agree. I agree with that. And I think, Diogen, we need like a really good run archives clause, right? Like we need a card that makes running archives make some amount of sense. Where paying 2 credits to run archives makes sense. That's the problem with Alice. It's like paying 2 credits and a click to run archives doesn't make a lot of sense. It's hard to see what that card would be. But like if you had a red team that only marked archives, like you need something like that. And I don't think that's a particularly interesting thing, but that's a problem, right? Like put a mess in chest on archives. What did they do? Nothing. Praxis is it, but like I think you need something that's a bit more on the table. And then again, I think Praxis is probably the worst in Alice because they ice up archives like on turn 1 even. And if they don't, how are you going to work for your Praxis? Leah Dahlia, that's a nice name. Iru, again, I don't know. I think with Iru you see it coming. Like it's pretty rough. Awesome. Hey. Thanks, you too. Okay, playing against Sable. This could be Deep Dive Sable. This could just be Good Stuff Sable. Could be even Knife Sable. We want to ice up HQ because Sable. Sable can get a lot of like cheeky touches on central servers. Peeked at your stream like an hour ago. Oh, cool. I'm doing, been playing PE all day so far. It's been fun. Enga is cool. Like Enga's kind of works, but like you don't have to run archives for Enga to work. But I think Enga's, you need a card like that, right? Like a really good data sucker. Or sorry, leech. I mean, we could maybe keep this hand. I don't know what the best ice we get on HQ is. Like, I don't want to forward a data loop on HQ. If we mulligan, this could get a lot worse. Oh, that got a lot better, actually. Oh my god, we drew our 1 of hedge fund. We've never seen this. Maybe if we keep getting more Seb support. I think we're going to get more Seb support by seeing like more cards that give you a click or a tag as a cost. And that makes just Seb more playable. Right? Like if we get like a telework that gives you a tag, something like that. Much better hand. Stream name sounds like a sick Otecker album. Yo, well, Teardog, I don't know what that is, but glad you're liking it. Enga, but does 2 Sabo in archives. Yeah, right? Like something like that would be cool. I think Enga's a really cool card. It's never going to see play, but it's like such a quintessentially sick card. I should have planned out the turn a bit better. We probably should be drawing once here because I don't really want to put the cohort on the table with nothing else. So we'll draw once. Okay. I think we're going to do Data Loop Rashida next turn. We'll just ice up HQ so we don't get doofed. Inga plus Maw and Alice is horrible for the corp. Every central breach mills 2 cards. Yeah, if you're not trashing stuff, but like play it in Hoshiko, right? Like that's the biggest problem is like just play it in Hoshiko. It'll be the same deck, but more consistent. I think that's a huge Alice problem in general. Like Alice needs some reason to like run archives if successful, draw a card. Like legitimately, you need something like that to compete with Hoshiko, let alone 50 card minimum, right? You need to get yourself up on some Oteker. Is it, what kind of music is it? What was the mark? HQ. I realize early Amaku is good. I haven't been listening to a lot of music. I've been like just very comfortable going on Spotify and just pulling up the last album I've listened to. And like last night, I just spent a whole bunch of time just digging through like old music I used to like, because I want to get it physically in one spot, so I'm not dependent on oh, we're Genesis. I'm not dependent on Spotify. I think I need to get more physical media, because there's like so many bands I don't listen to because Spotify just doesn't recommend to me, and I don't want to be at the whims of that anymore. All right, Amakua. We need ice up all central servers and get a MAV. That shouldn't be too hard. We can't res everything here, but we probably need to ice up some stuff here. Time to sigh over Trevor Sternad's fate for the 100th time. I don't know what that means. So we can't res everything. The question is, how scared is our opponent going to be of interaction? Like, we can maybe do this. This is, I think, a bit of an overextension, but Jnet casual overextension seems fine. Lou can do that with Imp and 40 cards? Yes, but it doesn't work with Lou. Like, I don't think you want to play Mon Lou because it's anti-Lou technology. There's a huge problem with both Hoshiko and Lat. A lot of decks are just better and more consistent under that than any other runner. Yes. I think NSG's been doing a much, I think, better job overall to build archetypes that are like supported by cards in a less than generalist way. I think it's good that there's generalist IDs, and arguably Sable is a generalist ID, but I don't know. I want to see more criminal IDs that are not generalist. I want to see more shapers that are a bit more interesting. Like Arasana is a really great shaper because Arasana decks are Arasana decks. But I think there's always going to be a baseline. The problem is like the baseline is very powerful. Red Crim IDs are so much better balanced than any other factions. I agree. No, but I disagree. I think all the Red Crim IDs are like the same. I think we've been playing Red Crim since 2012 and we haven't seen an identity besides Geist and arguably Az that does anything different. And I think that's a bummer. Looking at Don. Sternad was the lead vocalist of Black Dahlia Murder until his death in 2022. Oh, beans. Sable is at best as I spend a click to gain a click. Yeah, and that works out with a criminal card pool, right? Get a free run, pretty good. Get a free bankroll, Amakua, Leech, Dirty Laundry, Carpe Diem, pretty good. Easy to undersell. I think with this Mystic install and 7 cards in hand, I don't know if she's going to face check. Archive, just getting Amakua counter. This beats Tattoo Bola, which is kind of sick. We need this Rashida to fire to get Tattoo Bola to have more ice. When someone diversions through Tattoo Bola, it's pretty goofy. All right, I like it. We need to find our one Mavirus or get an ice on Archives, and then we'll eventually purge. We have to play this pretty differently. She's going to discard cards here. We love discarding cards, and I swear we're not Grinder. Throwing out a twinning means she definitely has another twinning in hand, which, if we can hit that, let's... Oh, shit. I obviously meant that... Hey, I don't mind because I'm on stream. Thank you. But we had no intention to draw after Rashida fires. I think you saw that I mashed that. Freaking. Okay. So we don't have ice for Archives. I don't want to put naked acids out there because of the Yamaku issue. Once she gets to 5, she can deal with Anansi relatively safely. But I'm assuming she's working on getting into a diversion of funds, is my guess. Missing Miami into twinning might be the next play, but she needs to get her money up. So Rashida on the remote server seems okay. We can Mindscaping, but we have enough cards in hand. I don't know what to do here. We haven't seen a Miss Bones yet. We could do like maybe Cohort. Can we Moonpool? We can Moonpool, sort of. She only has to get to 4 to beat the House of Knives play. This is tricky. It's also harder to throw cards into Archives to set up her Genesis plays. Because she wants to check Archives both with Amakua. It turns off Amakua, which is kind of fun. So what does she have in hand if she threw out a twinning? She definitely has an event that gets economy because she needs to get back into it. And she definitely has a twinning if she threw that out. That's a very important card. So Archives is the issue. If we Mindscaping, we go down to 6, 7, 8. But then we lose a card. Oh, this is fine then. Data Loop Archives, I mean, like, when in Rome. But we have to do this and then we have to purge. We'll probably purge on a following turn. I think we can just do Cohort here. We don't need to do Rashida because we want to purge next turn. That might be wrong. I don't mean that red crim decks are different. I mean there was a meaningful choice with ID you want rather than other factions. I don't think there's a meaningful choice on what criminal you play. I think it's pretty arguable that you can take any crim deck and change the ID and it doesn't change the deck that much. I actually think it's the opposite. I think the Sable decks could just be played in any other deck. Oh, this is risky. This is risky. Now, we have to not overextend here. If we don't res here, she can trash the cohort or get another Amakua counter. Sounds like Los Slander. Okay, I forgot Los exists. Los is different, I guess. Sort of, not even. Thinking. So she loses 2 cards in hand, which isn't a huge cost, but we need to be able to res like 20 credits worth of ice. Sorry, 17 credits worth of ice. So I don't think we can res this. She trashes the cohort, she trashes the cohort. Zaya's decks and 419 decks are different enough. No, I think you can switch the ID. The deck would be the same. All right, she's getting Amakua counters. That's fine. Snowberries last year was the last minute change from 419. Sable last year was the last minute change from 419. Yeah, like Ian was playing 419. Doubling down on low slander. Yeah, I know. But I honestly think a lot of the decks are like 90% the same cards. Like we can look at it. Like besides Deep Dive Sable, which like spending 50 in influence in the version that Snowberries are playing. Beans. It's the same deck. Like you can play Mining Accident Sable. Anarch is the widest variation in how you build the decks according to ID. Essa, Hoshiko, Freedom are all quite different. Yeah, that might be true. I think it more compartmentalizes on like different Anarch archetypes that are supported, like Virus Anarch, Sabotage Anarch, Reg Anarch, Crew Anarch. That's cool. And you don't see that sort of diversity in criminal decks. They're just like slightly different run-based criminals. Shit, her money is bottomed out. So we'll cohort for cohort. We probably don't actually purge here because we can't afford to res everything. I forgot step 1, res everything. Step 2, purge. Throwing out an inside job and end an inside job. So some Anansi respect there for sure. Okay, Vampire Nasa. Getting a second ice would be great. I think here we probably just... We could hybrid for that sweet, sweet net damage, but I don't want to get the cohort on the table. So we probably, like, are we going to get doofed into a Tattoo Bola? I don't think we care. We want to keep the Vampire Nasa in hand. So maybe we just do install advance, score this, do a net damage. Don't get the cohort on the table. Like, is that our plan? Or do we keep this to Moonpool the House of Knives on a following turn if we draw another agenda? Like, I just don't know what to do here with the cards because I don't want to install naked remote servers. I do not want to install that into Amakua. We could just purge here and see how she face checks. I think that's also fine. And throw out the Prana. Yeah, that's probably fine. I like a different option to Reg Anarch than Hosh. Yes, me too. All right, so now we can put some work. She can't trash this. If we res this, we go down to 8. That is enough money. Reg Anarch is basically Hoshiko Lu, so can't really be called Reg unless you mean more played Anarch. No, Reg Anarch is just like Reg Anarch, and it's not Lu at all. I think it's all Hoshiko. Oh, I might have hit that too soon. Like Reg Anarch is like Turbine Rig, like what One World's last year. The most Reg of Anarch. Lu doesn't play anything like that. They all play the trash forward package. The other half of the deck is different. Yes, all Anarchs play the trash forward package, and it's the trash forward package is just a bit too good on its own merits, I think. Okay, so now we need to stabilize and res all centrals and then force breakers out. I'm going to get rid of, I think, the Rashida. Okay, Tranquility's okay. We have a Regenesis. So we can Moonpool the House of Knives here. How good is it? Not that good. It's not that good. 2 inside jobs are out. We haven't seen boomerangs, but we could maybe do like Vampire Nasa into House of Knives, but it turns off our Tattoo Bola. I don't know if she's going to face check though, but we need to establish our money because our money is not very good. And scoring out this House of Knives for like 5 credits doesn't seem like the play. I guess it's 4 credits. That doesn't seem like it's the play. So we might just do Tranquility Vampire Nasa. I guess we can credit first. In theory, we could push out an agenda here because we have cohort and just say what happens, happens. That's interesting too. I like this play because next turn we can actually Tranquility Grid to score the hybrid to get the Rashid on top. That actually seems really cute. Isn't the definition of reg something to mean the package can be played in any ID? No, not necessarily. There's a whole, I think, stream that Jeff did many, many moons ago. But when I say reg, it means, well, this is not technically true anymore. So the definition of reg is like pretty nebulous. But I think if you know, you know, you know? But I think the big thing about reg is like, the game plan is more about consistency than is about synergy. What's different about that line though is like a lot of the trash forward packages are inherently synergistic, right? Like all the cards work really well together. But the argument is that like all the cards are in the deck because they're just generally the best cards on the power curve in general in the game as a whole. As opposed to thing like Alex's deck that won Worlds, where there's weird cards in there because they're specifically nichely consistent or nichely synergistic with the rest of his game plan and the rest of his deck. Or things like moshing, you could argue moshing, strike fund, all that sort of stuff is a synergy package, and it is. But at the end of the day, strike fund, moshing, steel skin is just the best thing the format has. Oh, Matryoshka! Check this out. This is definitely a deep dive list. So we got to do something really cool here. So we can throw out any card and get it back. I think we're just going to do the hybrid release to get a Rashida because it seems kind of fun. I don't think we're going to trash a card here. Okay, well. Oh, it uses the Tranquility anyways, so this was not as cute as I thought it was. PE going to hit a doof, okay. And so we're assuming there's more Matryoshkas in hand. We'll just get the Rashida on server too. I forgot this already fired its thing. Let's do the hidden Rashida because it's more fun. We actually could maybe work on a Prana, but I think we want cards in hand because we want to double ice. Hey, Lord Peacher, how's it going? Love the stream. Question: can the core res a virus and trash it from a server different than other one the runner's currently running? Yes, you can res any asset or upgrade during any run, no matter what server it's on. The only thing that you have to watch out is cards like, this is not exactly the thing, but you'll see specifically cards like border control say only use this ability during a run on this server. If it doesn't say that, you can do it whenever you want, right? So this is use this ability during a run on the server, but if you look at something like BioVault, it doesn't care. It just says end the run, so you can do that from anywhere at any point. Just watch out. The corporation can only res cards during the approach step. When the runner is encountering and breaking subroutines, you can't respond to that. That doesn't always matter. When it matters, it really does matter. Usually for casual play, it doesn't matter much. But yes, you can res cards in any server at any time, largely. All right, Nuka, she's working up. I guess maybe she's not on deep dive. We saw a twinning. But her start is really sleepy, unfortunately. Okay, I guess we throw out the Fuji. We don't have a spin doctor. It's a bit risky. But like, never mind. So we can't do Regenesis. We can moonpool the Regenesis on our later turn. So what is the play here? I think we just push the Regenesis naturally. We do Regenesis. Like, doesn't every game we play look different? I think that's sick. So we can't do Regenesis because the card has entered archives. So we can do Moonpool House of Knives and just safely do it from hand. I think that's the conservative angle. I think I'm okay with it. We're going to have to discard a card here anyways. The approach step timing is mind-opening. Yes, just watch out. On approach, you can res cards of the corporation. On encounter, you can't. There's still a paid ability window, so you can do things that like matter on paid ability windows, like fire board control after they break all subroutines. You can do that, but you can only res cards as a corporation during a run on the approach. And I think technically there's another window that's less important. It's just like I've seen people like, oh, drafter fires. They res a tranquility grid. You can't res a tranquility grid after the runner says the drafter fires because you can't res during the encounter. It's niche and it technically matters. All right, I'm going to throw out the Sting, so running archives is really difficult, and I don't think we needed the Spin Doctor then, so I'll just do the Regenesis in server 1, and server 2, excuse me, we'll play around. If we put the Spin Doctor out here, she might run it. I don't want to do that. I think we just discard this and say if you run archives, you might flatline. It's with a data loop into Fuji Sting is like 1700 damage. It's really hard to run this. We have to just watch out that we use cohort. We can't flip up one of our agendas, which is fine. Second Matryoshka, she might start running out. She can break 1 ice, no problem. If you're using the green level clearance Discord, use the ! timing command. It's very helpful. Yeah, the charts that folks made are really good. I have them on cards. I wish they were part of organized play kits, and they should be part of tournament kits. I probably should give that feedback. NSG asked for feedback. Those like timing chart cards are pretty useful to give out to players, especially at tournaments, or even to have them on hand if you're a judge. I saved the chart on my phone. Yeah. Leech, dirty laundry. Where are we going? Anansi, okay. So she has 3 credits. She can't break this, Anansi. She cannot break this Anansi. To break this Anansi, it costs 6 credits, so this is gonna hurt. Having those in the GNK kits would be nice. Yeah, GNK kits and also like higher level tournaments. I think they'd be really nice. I don't know what the cost to that is, but like people should have those. You can mass produce a ton of them, and once you get the price way down to include 1 judges in each kit, yeah, exactly. It's like my favorite thing. When anyone asks me a question, I'll show them the chart so I can explain at the same time so visual learners can see it. Fire all. Don't mind if I do. Card to move on top of R&D. So if this is a sting, does she hit her F-line Sesh? Yeah, I'll put the sting on the top because it's her F-line Sesh. So I'll do the Hallman at the bottom. We don't care. Moonpool, whatever. Anemone. I want them a virus. So she shouldn't access here. I effed it up. I'm not gonna pretend I didn't F it up. So we draw 1. She lost a reprise. Oh, that could have been pretty bad for us. So she shouldn't access here. It is very risky. We put a card on top of the deck. It can be a snare. It can be a Fuji. It can be a sting. You should not touch here. If it's a ganked, I do not recommend running R&D after they've ordered the top of R&D. She is typing. Oh no. I definitely will put something lethal on top of here. I respect your choice, but I will give you I don't mean that to be disrespectful. I just like you always put something that kills on top of the deck. Sting and snare or Fuji. It can be bad. Up to you. Like I have no reason to put something on top of the deck that's gonna be good for her. Now she needs to get the leech and the Amakua, so like I get it. Maybe we didn't hit it. Is that a Canadian accent difference in reprise? No. It isn't. So a reprise is a reprise, but reprise, like, so reprise is the way that you pronounce it when it comes to music. Like a musical reprise is like the encore, the repeat, the coda. And that's generally in music referred to a reprise. And I'm assuming it's a musical themed card. A reprise is like a reprisal, like we have a Netrunner, but a reprise is a musical term. I'm assuming it should be pronounced like the musical term. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. It was a sting on top. It's 2 different words with the same spelling, yeah. All right, Regenesis. Turn a card in Archives face up. We'll take the Fuji. Yeah, you might be right there. That's a hard risk. I think they lose anyways. That's true, but I don't think you want to lose like that. Like, I think she still has a chance. Like, she can maybe run at HQ a bit. She can get off a deep dive or something. Like, obviously, she's not in a good spot, and I don't mean to like rub that in, but yeah. How do we win from here? Could we Moonpool of Fuji? No. It just sucks because it was a dirty laundry run. If it wasn't a dirty laundry run, it feels a bit easier to do that. I think we just push that. Our money's not good. Like, let's not get that twisted. Our money's a bit goofed. I think we just scored 1 pointer to 1 pointer. What ice is in front of R&D again? Can't read it. Torf, don't feel bad for asking, please. This is Anansi. It's a big spider. It's one of the scariest sentries in the game because if you don't break the subroutines, it bites. It's an FFG card. It's rotating later this year. Personally, I blame French. Tron, by the way, how's it going? I used to do stage musicals. I've been wrong the whole time. Yes, probably. Sorry. All right, this is a data loop. If we res the data loop, we have no money. However, if she runs the data loop, she steals a sting. And I think we don't mind that. Thank you. Yeah, no, please. I don't do a great job as I try to do when I'm doing like recorded gameplay that I don't highlight the cards that folks might not know. So please, if you want to do an art check or a card check, please just ask. I don't mind at all. Yo, Nemec, how's it been? Streaming European time. Yeah, I think our time zones caught up to your time zones too, because we just did our daylight savings. How you been? Hopefully you've been good. Quick math. She can get in here. The question is it lethal? All good here, friend A. Good to hear. We could consider resing that. We can res the Tattoo Bull in HQ. We can res the Tattoo Bull in server 2. We're more likely just to res the Vampire Nasa. Ooh, okay. So we don't have a swap here. If we res this, though, she has to commit to using the Matryoshka, and I kind of like that. Because if she uses the Matryoshka, she's not probably running server 2. I feel like this is also a very risky run. I guess she draws 2. So let's force a credit. I hate Spider so much. I think it's a cool card. 8's really expensive. Sometimes it's right just to let it fire. It also allows you, if you have 2 credits, you can draw a card. Like, people forget that all the time. Like, it only does 3 damage if you can pay 2 credits. Like, obviously it does 4 damage, but you cycle a card. But you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of cool. For Magic Arena, there's a Twitch overlay so you can read the cards. I don't think that exists for Netrunner. No, it doesn't. Well, we used to have a thing. It might not work right now, but I used to have a Twitch extension that shows you my deck list, and you can highlight over the cards in my deck list, and it'll show you the cards. It is currently a bit broken. Oh, never, they leech Amakua. So that wasn't great. HQ run, get a click. Leech, buy bands, draw 2. Installing a card's a bit risky here. She knows we have a Sting. Hybrid release. Ow, my points. Hey, we can lose this game. We can lose this game. She's tearing her servers up. If we top deck a Blood in the Water, we could have something here. Vampire Nasa is expensive to break with Matryoshka. Oh, 2 strength, actually. Not that bad. Cooked rice, but forgot to buy salt. Oh, that's not good. Do you have soup stock? You can maybe put some soup stock over it. Only 3-2. I don't have any of those. I have a Blood in the Water. Anansi's excellent design has great notes for designers. The way it costs a lot for the corp hurts, but doesn't kill the runner and provides interesting interactions that are all great. Yeah. Yeah, I like it. I think it's neat. Like, I like, for what it's worth, I think I like Hydra Anansi a lot more than I like Cloud Eater. And that is someone who has Cloud Eater as a spoilers card. For Dawn spoilers, whenever they're coming up, like, I think it's really important that NSG does a good job lining up spoilers cards with content creators who will be excited about them. And I want to be very clear, I'm very lucky and very excited to get spoilers cards from NSG, but like having See How They Run and like Cloud Eater as a Metropole Grid spoilers, it's, I don't know. I was like talking the week before, I really hope we get an agenda that you want to score out at not expensive ice. And it's just kind of funny. I think we need a cohort here. I think we need to. The problem is like every card here is really good for us. Man, the hybrid was our win condition because we're going to score House of Knives into something. All these cards are good. All these cards are really good. Guess we don't. We score this, we go down to 4. And we knock her down to 1 card. Most of our ice is res. That might be fine. We probably should have cohorted that turn. Took out a 3rd doll. Okay. She lost her final inside job as well. Actually, this fridge is all just monster. I think making Jinteki feel impossible to face check paired with the eyeball ain't much fun. It has no cheat method, like most big guys. Yes, like I think face checking to Saisantan is usually really bad for you and game losing, but face checking to Anansi and forcing them to spend 8 early is like whatever. It's fine for you sometimes. It's a bit worse into obviously Ag Infusion, because then you have to worry about Ag Infusion for the rest of the game. But it's kind of cool. Cohort gets us a click to jam, right? Oh no, but we have no face downs. If we had face downs, yes. I thought we missed that, but we didn't have any face downs. You have to flip a card face down, face up. So if we did that, we definitely would have scored it out with a credit and a click fewer, and we would have pushed the next card. It's like plus 3 credits for us. It's really important. You can face check into Nazi, it hurts, but the price the corp pays means that the game isn't over. Yep, I agree. Saisantan's a bit messed up. I think Saisantan is really messed up. Ooh, diversion. Luckily, we have a Tattoo Bola here. So this diversion is on the HQ mark, so actually pretty good. So she has to break. We're going to gain 4. So like, man, this is what happens. Like, this is still okay because Sable gets the mark. You get a leech counter, you get Debbie. But like, doofing through a tattoo bowl is really rough. I'm going to do the damage because she doesn't have cards in hand. And now she can't access safely. I also max 4 damage and even gives you the safe. So at 3 cards in hand, you're safe like a certain other Jnet card. Yeah, I agree. Never had apple jam, but I need to get some jam since it's fall and now it's time for delightful jam spreads. Okay. Can we win here? We have a money problem. It's the damn Almakua. So we probably do install Mavirus, install Sting, and just hold on. I don't think we need a cohort. The Tattoo Bola is whatever. If we top deck the 5-2, we win. So maybe we should just try and top deck the 5-2. Okay. So Holloman lets us fast advance. It actually might be better just put a Holloman and then Mavirus and then click for a credit. It's hard for her to run to an enemy into House of Knives. She needs cards in hand, so I think we do that. And just say on 8 credits, we should be enough. The fast advance out for Holloman to score out a 3-1 from hand, you need 7 credits. So still might be squeaky. She can pressure us that we're not on game point, but she's actually doing okay. If she finds another Fuji off of like the central somehow, she's kind of winning. The problem is like she has to do something this turn or she loses. I'm glad she didn't touch the top of R&D. This has become a much cooler game. I'm not trying to convince people. I'm kind of just venting, so sorry about that. It's just fix the corpse draw and take 4 damage. It's hard to break. It's a bit too pushed. For 8 credits, though. Like, that's one of the most expensive ice in the whole damn game. Ah, GG. We're going to do the House of Knives first. And then hit a Steel Skin. Flatline Anemone. Thanks for the game. That was getting close. That was tricky. That was close. You swipe the Sting from my hand. I'm in a rough spot. Yeah, the problem is like at the end of the day, she can't touch the Sting in hand because she doesn't have cards in hand. This is the hard thing. There's like cards like the second leech. Maybe you need it because you're relying on Amaku and Matryoshka, but like this extra card in hand is so much more impactful. Yeah, yes. Yeah, early game seemed rough. And a part of that is that we iced up everything. Finally started drawing money, but I had to fly very close. Oh yeah, for sure. Gotta take some risks. Thanks for the game, eh? Cheers. How are we doing on time? We've been streaming for like 2.5 hours and we're just flying through these PE games. How many games have we played today so far? 6? Okay. 6 max damage on the face check is kind of silly. Yeah, I agree. 5 credits should not end the game. I don't know. Energy says like we shouldn't have face check death, and yet Seisenstein's still in the format. Like it doesn't make sense to me. It does not seem to vibe with their the design ethos. All right, we'll do one more of this and then we'll play another PE for sure. Gotta play more in PE and stream to fit more games each night. And they haven't been fast games because like people are just like face planting on death. Oh, Nova. Fuck. I don't know what to do against Nova. What can Nova do? I don't think I've played against Nova in years. Angrim Flush did nothing wrong. Whatever, Mondi. Thanks, you too. All right, what do we lose to against Nova? Endurance? Can Nova still play Endurance? Does Nova get hit by the ban list? Nova gets hit by the ban list by more than most others. Like, I kind of just want to do Anemone House of Knives and say I don't care. We'll put Crazium on HQ so we don't get doofed. This seems fine. It had 5 strength. Don't get pulled into Mondi's Angrim Flush bait. All right, I don't know how you play against Nova. I don't think you do. I don't think you make good decisions. You just say like, well, I don't know what they're gonna put down. Stargate. Bioban's R&D. Okay, it's good to get this one. This card's actually really good in the matchup because Clicklessly getting installs. What's the console Nova plays? Oh fuck. That was the worst case. Oh shit. And there's gonna be one Steel Skin Scarring we're gonna lose to. This does 4 damage. I mean, okay. Earthrise, Pinel Threading. Like, you can't safely access here. If we put the Sting in the remote server, Nova dies. I guess that's kind of fitting. Access? Like if it's a sting, you die. I don't think it's likely we sting. Oh, they jacked out. Oh, wait. That's sick. Nova and Impair should be able to be ban cards. Yeah. From the whole history of the game. Carmen's coming down. We have a breaker. Let's do a Mindscaping. Gain 4, draw 2. Oh, that's good. Like, we still lose to Hermes, right? Is this cool, P? Padraig, this is loud. It's not cringe. It's not cringe. I swear it's not cringe. So we draw Rashida. We draw Rashida. We just need to keep agendas in hand so this doesn't get bounced. That's fine. Yeah, it's just all the good criminal cards, huh? How many snares? 1. We can't shuffle 3 snares back in. We don't have the ability. I don't think we have to score this House of Knives. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think presenting problems and just saying we're going to score this next turn is totally fine for us. Low level cringe? It's a pretty fun deck, honestly. We haven't ground anyone. We've been doing like cool tempo tricks. We've been scoring the 7 and stuff. Yeah, the question is like running R&D bouncing is pretty rough here. I'm assuming they don't have economy to run server 2, but like this is the problem with Nova is like I can't make good decisions into Nova and I don't find that satisfying to play. We'll see how it goes. Good old basic action economy. Let's see if Nova discards a card here or whether Mystic actually like gets a run event in here. I don't think it's too risky to run event archives. Okay, cool. Breakers down. Losing those would be pretty rough. So we can score a hybrid release. I think we're just going to go for the House of Knives. It's 4 damage. We're not grinder. That might bounce the Tattoo Bola. We hit a Turbine. That seems good. It's harder to play Simulchip and Nova, I guess. Nova might be on knife. Yeah, jump scare. We're fine throwing out the Rashida because we can hybrid release and not care. We can't res the Chrysium, so like diversion of funds here. At least we don't have money, so whatever. Nuka, that's good. Have they found the 1 steel skin or any card that gives credits? Jailbreak. Ooh, risky. You die to... It's actually kind of hard to die here. We can make it a bit easier, but I don't want to do House of Knives when they're in 6 cards in hand. It just feels a bit wasteful. Never mind, 7. Ooh, Regenesis. Okay. Lost to Praxis. That's sick. All right. Throwing out a Docklands. Not wanting that HQ. Sweet, sweet multi-access. So they know we have this. If we just hybrid release, we lose too many cards. I think we're just going to put this on HQ. I think Rashida in the remote server is okay. They can't really deal with it. And then we can always like fire this if we want to, depending on how board state goes. It also is like something they might consider bouncing. We'll res the Rashida now. We just don't want to get a bounce to Hermes. You can just res your assets. Didn't consider House of Knives. I think it's okay. If we lose a Fuji here, we might lose the game. Jailbreak, loot, and narrative synchronization. Well, yeah, I guess so. It's a mining accident. Okay, you have a bad publicity. That's the most econ you can put in a single Nova card. Okay, so if we install the hybrid release and score it, I think we'll just Rashida and stabilize. But how do we stabilize with Rashida? I think we just need the money. Okay, that's good. Okay, so now we can ice up stuff for real. So Vampire Nos and R&D is okay. We lost our 1 Regenesis. We have 1 more. Our opponent now checks the Anemone for free, which is like kind of interesting. And Anansi's now only 3 credits. The thing is like 3 credits is still a lot of money to scrape together. So just get these stuff on the table. So it's harder to bounce. It actually might be okay to put the Rashida out here because, well, it still forces you to pay 1 to trash Rashida. So that's fine. Okay, I'm glad we did that. So it's a moon pool. So from this point on, whether we fire the Rashida or not, we can just like score a hybrid release, get a wage workers on the table. I think that's going to be hard for them to trash as much as it is -1. We just need to get our money up. We love a Prana because I think unless they find the one of Miss Bones, Prana is going to stick. The number of non-red crim cards that have been played in 10 cards is exactly 1. No, that's not true. Okay, checking the enemy. They can deal with our Rashida. That's fine. We'll just bring it back. Rashida for 1. We can also consider feeding stings because we have the second sting. Throw it at alarm clock in a class act. Okay, so we have a money problem. If we score Sting, we go down to 3 credits. We're not throwing to res much. We have a Tattoo Bola, which is okay on the server that we're most worried about. If we put a Rashida back in the server, it's not really doing that much for us. Will we just do this? They're keeping good cards. Like, they're throwing out alarm clock class act. Their hand must be okay. I don't know if this is correct. I think it's fun, though. Oh, they're going to bounce a card back to hand. Oh, that's bad, actually. Thinking. Because then we're going to end up with a card on the table, but then we're going to have one of these opened up. We'd rather not open up HQ, but I think they're playing around this being the Hokusai grid or something, because they throw their Docklands. They don't want to run HQ. Let's stabilize economically. Or not. Okay. So the Sting might not go anywhere, but it's fine. If they take it, the next Sting is more damage. Checking archives. Maybe this is a mutual favor. They might just want to get all their breakers down. NFL? Okay. We don't care about tags. That's the best econ card they've played so far. They drew, and now it's a Paladin. Okay, that's the best econ card they've played so far. Let's not get that twisted. I have to remember that we have this House of Knives. Okay, so we're in the same situation, though. If we get bounced, we get bounced. So I think we actually just set this up and put more cards on the table. They don't have a Fractor yet. I think we have to make a better remote server. So let's just get cards out of hand so that we don't get ruined and have to discard cards to a bounce. So we'll just set this up. Credit. We can Moonpool really easily. I just don't have a huge incentive to Moonpool these cards. Like, I don't know. We want to Moonpool Regenesis, but we also need to get a card in archives. No, that doesn't work. Daily cast? All right. Now we're gaming. Okay, we played some econ cards. That's pretty good. All right. Can we just score this? Yes. Can we never advance a Fuji? Yes. This will put us on 5 credits. We could also just like install advance a hybrid to get a card on the table. That'll keep them busy. If we get a wage worker, it's actually pretty good. Yeah, I'll try that. See what they bounce. Hit a labor rights. Okay, I don't think. Oh, they're only 15 cards left in their stack. Okay, they've been drawing. Tattoo Bull is back. HQ is wide open. Oh my god, you need face down cards. Why did I score that? Oh, that's cringe. Oh, that's bad. That's okay. We have House of Knives. Feels so wild to be sitting with 4 agendas in hand, but I guess with PE, they're a bit more useful than other decks. Yeah, we don't mind it. Like, we can always just panic and get the agendas out of hand with Moonpool. Like, we're technically safe. DJ for Steve? Are you allowed to do that? Yeah, I guess that's a legal play. So if we res the Chrysium, we're going to start here. This technically powers up Steve. I'm going to ask for access. Hit a Cleaver. Seems good. Res the Chrysium. So they flatline. Oh, we can't do Snare anymore. They hit the hybrid, we win. Or sorry, the Fuji, we win. Might have been okay to keep Snare credits, but this actually gives them a card in hand with Steve. Oh, good game. Doing your Hermes so you don't die. So we'll do the 1 damage first, because that's technically better if there's a steel skin in hand. Good game. Thanks for the game. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like we can't tell what our opponent does. They don't do anything super consistently. And then we just have to play the most like generic value line. I think the Hermes was giving us the biggest squeeze there for sure. Very cool. Okay. You want to do some news really quickly? How's everyone doing? How was your Tuesday afternoon? Did you go out and vote in America? Hopefully you're doing some American voting. I'm obviously not watching the news. I'm here. So I think the news. What's the list? Zeke, this is D's second place at Worlds. Allowed version of a deck. I forget the deck name. I think D labeled it as Loudred or Louderd. You killed them, you monster. John, I got him. It's fine. I just ate 2 Costco hot dogs. Great. Voted, now doing American stress baking. The Tuesday pastime of American stress baking. Hopefully you're baking something good. Yeah, Zeke, this is a D's like loud version. It's a QTM list. I think this list is really cool. It's a vibes-based one. The version that Tuna played at Worlds is slightly different. I like the Crisium a fair bit. I don't actually think I like the what's it called? The Tranquility that much. It feels like I can spend 2 influence on just about anything else in this slot and it feels okay. It's like kind of weird because unless you're windmilling to the remote server, like I think I'd rather play a Warroid tracker in this slot by a mile. But I need to play more with it. The version Tuna played is only slightly different. The Agenda Suite's the same, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's the same. The assets, I think, are fully the same. There's a fully op though instead of 2 of the upgrades, and there's a Hansei, a second Hansei. In fact, 2 Hanseis instead of 1 hedge fund. I think that's where the slot is because we have 2 more upgrades. I think the ice is entirely the same, except not a Sisenton, a second enemy. I love a second enemy. I think it's really great. American Stress Baking is a great cake cover band. Imagine saying cake and stress in the same sentence. Do my American duty by voting and then stress eating Taco Bell for lunch. Yeah, just like our forefathers. Kato, how's it going? Glad you all have participating in the democracy you have set in front of you. This is the one thing that we didn't shout out. This was posted like last week, if not the week before, but they're doing some weird AMTs. Firstly, there's an AMT coming up. It's for American time zone. It's just this Saturday, November 9th, starting at 9 a.m. PST. Oh, well, just watch out. We've had a time change recently on this side of the pond. So our hour is slightly different than it used to be last week. But that's really cool. I don't expect there's going to be a lot of people this one. A lot of people might have been, you know, card gamed out after Worlds and are waiting for some mix up, but I think it's also maybe a great thing if you're testing before some of the upcoming events, because there's like Singapore Nationals coming up, it's UK Nationals coming up. I know Man in the Moon is running a tournament online as well next weekend, so this might be a good time to get some grinding in. You're going to see a lot of I think the deck lists that did well at Worlds. I imagine there's going to be a fair bit of ASA group there. APAC Time Zone AMT also coming up at the end of the month. Now, in December, they're doing some weird stuff. They're doing off meta month. So it looks like the AMTs are going to be running in December are not going to be standard. They're basically going to be whatever you want to offer to run, whether it's Chimera or Ocarina or Startup or whatever you want. You can submit an off meta event and have it be that. It doesn't have to be a format people are familiar with. It could be a format you've made up, as long as it's relatively easy to, I imagine, to play on Shinteki.net. So that is closing in just a couple days, and like next week that will close. But if you want to submit a cool tournament, if there's a format that you think is pretty sick, do submit it, which is great. It could just be Eternal. But anyways, December is going to be a bit goofier. Not everyone can play all the time. There's like holidays and travel and stuff, but that's pretty great. Classique, yeah, it could be Classique, honestly. I think Classique AMT would be kind of sick. Oh, if I'm not mistaken, NB Kelly too is also running an upcoming tournament, which is basically kind of like Classique. Can I find it? But I'm pretty sure NB Kelly is running an online tournament, which is like a bunch of the best decks from old formats. Is it NB Kelly? Am I making this up? Am I making this up? I think I read something like that, but I'm pretty sure there's a tournament. Throwback, yeah, Throwback is another great option. I think Throwback is really cool. I think Throwback, like, I think people want something that's like Eternal Light or like Throwback plus 2 cards maybe. I think Throwback is such a cool format, and I think we're going to see more experimentation on Throwback over the next year or so. Time Walk, this is it, right? Yeah, it's NB Kelly. So have you got what it takes to step up the shoes of a champion to secure some tough victories that our Legends of Netrunner did, or even to change history and win when the odds are stacked against you? Play through the historical Worlds matchups that did and some that did not happen from 2012 all the way through 2024. Sengren was working on a series like this where he pitted together old deck lists that were like first and second at Worlds for the last like 10 years to see like which decks are still competitive. And I don't think he's published any results yet, but the results from my understanding are pretty surprising. There are some modern decks that lose to older decks, and also there's some that are not even close. If it sounds complicated, don't worry. I rigged Jnet to make it this automatic for you. So basically you enroll and it'll give you an old deck list from some of the old world championships from back in the day, and you just play your tournament. I think that's sick. NB Kelly does a lot of great stuff on Jnet. 2021 cooked that one. What year is 2021? Was that Max PD? That sounds like Rotom's year, right? Anyways, I think that's really sick if you want to catch this. This is actually this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. So that's coming up really soon. PD and Big Max. Oh, Big Max, right. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay, let's look at another PE list. Let's see some other PE lists that have been posted. I think we got a bit more time left in our Personal Evolution stream. We don't do this all the time, so why not have some fun with some net damage? Let's see some other PE things. This week I'm filming some stuff. I was meant to film yesterday. I did a rehearsal and a script. We're going to have some videos up on either this weekend or the following weekend as well, or following week. We're working on 2 big things on the channel right now. Firstly, I'm doing a series in which we teach how to do deck building for System Gateway. So if you're new to the game, I'll sit down and there'll be a couple videos to be like, this is how I build a corp deck in System Gateway, and teach some strong fundamentals about like decisions on what we put into decks and economy and ice, and talk through some of this stuff. It's not going to be like a 5-minute video. It's going to be more like a half an hour video. But if you're newer to the game, that might help you. I think that might be a pretty good evergreen piece. We're going to do a corp deck, runner deck, and we'll probably do a secondary corp deck and a secondary runner deck that focuses on different win conditions. We're probably going to start with PD and Zaya and then end up on like Restoring Humanity, Kill combo, and like maybe Anarch Destruction or something like that. How is Moat not the best deck? I don't think it is at all. I think Boat's really good, but there's decks with a lot of ice that can make Boat pretty worse, or decks that are faster than Boat. From that point on, we also got a really good replay review that was submitted by Matt just last week. That is a startup replay review, and I'm not a startup expert, but it's a really good kit game into, I believe, Restoring Humanity, and that's another fun one. We'll do a nice little fundamentals focus on game plan stuff, and that should be up on the channel in the near future too. Oh, best Boat version was not included. Whoa. Okay, the only undefeated Jinteki deck of Worlds. This is Ice Cold Jazz. This is Austin, the president of Null Signal Games. Plays really well. Waterboarding your friends on Worlds 2024. This is Josh from Toronto, who's been playing PE forever and different damage decks. Louderer first at ACC. That's probably similar to what we played. This is Pylu's version of it. And we're going to see some other stuff there too. So let's look at this. Hawaii 5-0. This is probably Cerebral Overrider. Yeah, this is just full shell game PE, which I'm honestly think it's kind of fun. It's not my favorite type of Netrunner because it's more about like what's on the table, run the right things, don't run the wrong things. And you know, the game can just be like, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Good players have more control over this, but the question is, do they run their Overrider and take a bunch of core damage? Oh, you won the game, probably. Is it a clearinghouse and they didn't run it? Oh, you won the game, probably. So if you like Mitosis, you know who you are, but a lot of people are getting a bit more fed up about this, and I'm kind of getting fed up, but it's going to be fun. I think we're going to try this. Longevity Serum. Weird. Other stuff. What is Josh play at Worlds? Oh, it's the same idea. Okay, cool. So very, very similar. This has a Trick of Light. I think other cards I've played in these lists are like Trick of Light and Seamless Launch. And those are really cool because you can score out faster than people think you can, especially if you're playing Neurospike. I think I usually play like 2 Neurospikes because Install Advancing a Fuji is actually super lethal. Because if they don't run the Fuji and you score it with a click left, you can do Neurospike, Fuji, that's 6 damage. That kills a lot of runners. I think playing this deck into a meta where people are playing Onacom and Stone Chip Chart Room as X3s and most like competitive decks is going to be a bit tricky. But I think we're going to try out the Hawaii 5-0. The only undefeated Jinteki deck and the only of 2 undefeated corps. How good did the runner do for Austin? Oh, I think we can just do this. So let's look really quickly. Agenda Suite. House of Knives and Sting. Classic. 2 Fujis, 3 Blend the Waters, and a longevity. I'm surprised by the longevity. Getting Mitosis back in is really important. We have Moon Pools. Moon Pools, you can use an instant speed after they commit to Axis to add additional counters to Urticas, Overriders, and even, of course, Clearinghouses. That is a line a lot of people forget. Or a Ronin at instant speed. That's pretty scary. I think Clearinghouse has kind of replaced Ronin in a lot of the decks like this I've played classically over the last couple of years, but Clearinghouse is a fair bit of influence, and Ronin's been around forever. Hedge Fund, 1 Neurospike, Anemones, no upgrades. A lot of these decks sometimes would play, you know, I don't think Wanza makes too much sense with this Agenda Suite, but I think even looking at the ones like Daniela or Angelique or Hokusai could make a lot of sense, but slots are hard. I suppose no one does a seamless SHRTR or something. I think it's just a really cheesy deck and it loses to Stone Chip and Onacom. I think I built the deck where our main plan is to rush it as soon as possible. And I think someone published a deck that did okay at a tournament like that, but it's not as robust as you think it is because you actually have a lot of things to line up. And like all of it loses to a lot of the tech that's pretty standard across most decks. Boat Freedom was paired against a low-key Ag, and that's just a horrible matchup. At Jeff's thing? At the greatest of all time? Cool. We're going to put cards on the table. Some of them are going to do damage. The question is, can Tehran dodge the damage? Be your choice. I'm not gonna pick that. Give me the good matchup, please. No, it's fine. I'm gonna make it awkward because Tron knows what we're playing. If he picks up like the bad beats, the 100% win rate, we're gonna roast him. Play against decks that just try recurring Parasite. And Goat? What deck would that be? Like Cipher? Or just like Shaper, bringing back the 1x Parasite. Ooh, As. That can be tricky. So this hand is not great for Mitosis. We have like 8 ice, I think, in the deck. 6 ice, 2 Tattoo Bolas. We don't want to get diversion of funds. And obviously Boomerang is going to do a fair bit of work. Thanks, you too. Book of Kate. Yeah, I looked that deck up the other week when we tried to build Arasana Chisel. All right, that's a bit better. Mitosising an NGO front, you're allowed to do it legally. Like, no one's going to stop you. Oh, that's good. So we can Mitosis the Cerebral Overrider and the NGO front, and then just put a Spin Doctor on the table and hold 2 snares. That seems like maximum gaming. Cool. In theory, can you lose to this board state? You can. If this is a clearinghouse into the Ronin and you don't end on 5 cards in hand, this board state on its own can be lethal. Oops, snare. Already this deck upsets me. This is just like Cambridge P. That's what it does. All right, hit a Boomerang, 2 Chesvas. That's fine. So if this is an Overrider or a Ronin, you have to run it. Oh, no, with Class Act, you don't. And we're going to Spin Doctor back in 2 snares. So in theory, we're actually meant to advance the Overrider one more time. Because now we're threatening a bit more. A lot of times if your failed traps are failed, keep advancing them as long as it makes some amount of sense. Well, shit. Well, now we're cooked. Unless it's an Urtica. No, we didn't play around a diversion. That's pretty bad for us. All right, this one costs 3. Okay, we finally have the Tattoo Bola. We've stabilized. So the question is whether we want to shuffle back here. We probably shuffle back the Mitosis. It's our best card. This we can leave on the table, I think. So Tattoo Bola has to hit HQ. We don't have a swap yet. I want to Mitosis this Ronin. So we might just do Tattoo Bola and Spin Doctor. We're going to use a Spin Doctor anyways. We could have maybe put the Ronin down, but I think we really need to Mitosis this Ronin. 10 credits with a Nuka in hand. Okay. So we'll put back in the snare and the Mitosis. We'll res this Spin Doctor. Fuck, that's good. I think he can trash that if he wants. I wonder if Az is going to do more than Sable Zaya can this game. This game it can, because Az can have like the safe prognostic draw engine, which is hard to play around. Okay, the issue is if we Mitosis, we go down to 1 credit. And that means there's no threat of Cerebral Overrider. That might still be correct, but we need to get our money up. I think it's the only play line that we have access to here. So we can't fire Overrider. It might have been okay to put the Rashida on the table. But like in theory, you can check this. The worst case is an Urtica and you take 4 damage. We'll see if Toron wants to do that. Because Overrider, the big breakpoint in this matchup is 3 for advanced card on the table, 4 for snare and HQ, and we're not playing them. Feels bad? I think we probably shouldn't have made this play if we're a sub 3 credits. But like you see with this and the other deck, this, I think we're just like flailing things on the table and seeing what sticks. And some of that is like, you know, not the highest level of play on our side. But like, I feel like we're making less interesting decisions, which is why I really like the other deck. The Longevity, Blood in the Water, still holding on the table. I think we can consider doing an enemy Rashida and just be cool about this stuff. Longevity's been sitting there, but we don't want to go down to 0 credits. Never mind, it's not there no more. On the Water Darts, just peak. Yeah, it's really, really good. You still see a lot of people playing that playmat back from 2022. I imagine it's a lot of people's favorite playmat. Very good. Last an Ashen Epilogue. Oh no, we're not going infinite. Can P trash a card they're more excited about than Ashen Epilogue? So now we're also on 3 credits, so this could be an Overrider, and if it is, Tron's game is cooked. We're not threatening Saisantan. The worst would be 3 damage here with an enemy. So let's see what he does here. We have some problems. We do not feel like we're in control of this game. We just do not. And again, I want to highlight the differences in this playstyle. And I'm not going to play this as well as Austin did at Worlds, but this feels like we don't have as much agency in our hands. Bravado. Sick. Good call. So if we get an enemy that's more cards out of hand, I honestly don't think we res the enemy. Because doing 3 damage here, in theory, Prognostic can do something. Doing 3 damage here is not that important. Funny enough, he can't even trash Rashid unless he pops the bankroll. He could go back. Probably should go back. We'll res it. So now we can drop him down to 3 cards in hand, which means the Blood in the Water is a bit easier to score. Is that correct? We can do credit, score, Blood in the Water, and then we're bankrupt. I don't know if we do that. If we res an enemy, we have to throw out one of these cards. I'm okay throwing out a snare. And then he'll be on 3 cards in hand. That means we can do credit, score, Blood in the Water. He's on 2 cards in hand and we have 2 points. I feel like I'm going to try it. I don't think I like this. We hit a Masterwork. That's good. And a Class Act. That's also really good. So here he could Prognostic a Boomerang, but he's not. So he's on 3 cards. Also DZ, MZ. This deck is really greedy. So he could die if this is a Ronin. No, he can't. Hit a Docklands. Okay, so he's on 2 cards. We're 2-2. Well, this deck is on 3 Blood of the Water, so cards in hand really does matter. Running R&D here. Fuji, we only have 2. Campfire Snare, we know what every single snare is. We've drawn 4 snares so far in like our top, what is it, 16? Neurospike. I feel like we do nothing here. Just keep snare credits. He has a lot of money. Triple bankroll now. I was just going to say double bankroll. But he has infinite money now. I wonder if you check archives here instead of running R&D 3 times. Nice. Do we do double snare? We can do draw, credit, hedge fund just to give a bit of mystery. It's either hedge fund or put a card in server 9. I want a hedge fund here so that if we don't get diversioned, we don't lose everything. Like, the difference between being on 5 and 9 means the diversion doesn't bottom us out. We're expecting 2 more diversions. Some of these as lists cut slots, but the fact that the deck is running 3 Boomerang, diversion is really easy, really early. So playing 3 up feels okay. But again, this deck versus the other deck we're playing before, it feels so wildly different. This is the start of P. I think a lot of people like less. Me neither. It's not. I think that's whether or not he installs his decoder. He might be on Amakua. Bankroll Amakua makes sense. That's the final class act. So just making sure that anything you touch here, you're fine. The worst case scenario is 3 damage. But we know where all the snares are. That's an overrider off the top. So 2 overriders are out. Okay. It's a class act draw there. Draws 4. Okay. So we don't have a great Mitosis target here. You don't want a Mitosis after the class act turn because he has cards to burn. He can just touch things. But we can win off of like doing Mitosis into a Fuji and advancing it once. I don't think we really need a Hansa here. Why are we playing Overrider P? Jeff, how's it going? We've been playing P all week. I played all day. We played Ds. This is our first time just playing like Cambridge P, and I'm not enjoying it. It's been pretty bad. It's been pretty rough. Like, this is our board state on turn, what is it, 9? Yeah. Just doing nothing to advance the game. I know. I agree. Cambridge PE sucks. I agree with you. I just wanted to show the stream what it looks like. Oh, that's okay. Good. Has since 2014. I think it's okay. Like, it can win games. People misplay into it. But, like, I don't know. Not my favorite. Yeah, like, we're so cooked now. Like, this is kind of a non-game, huh? My least favorite thing about Cerebral Overrider is that it doesn't rotate with Dawn. Me too. Oh my god, me too. Cool. Anything that relies on misplays is not for me. It's not misplays. You can build board states that are hard to deal with, but at the end of the day, you have to predict what they're going to run. We probably lose on this. Urtica. So, unfortunately, any agenda wins. Yeah. What a game. That was definitely a game of Netrunner. Yeah, that's awful. Casual players love this stuff. Is there a reason Mitosis P is part of my battle box? Yeah, we did nothing there. Yeah, I totally forgot about it. I don't know. I think it requires a lot on the table for you to die. But yeah, the doof was definitely a misplay on my part. Just totally forgetting that we can't go down to that low because doof means that he can check. If it's an Urtica, it still does damage, but it's relatively safe. Yeah. Oh, neat. You still risk an Urtica there on 0 credits. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think the Urtica is fine. Like at that point, it's a bit more grinder. So what happens here? Like the problem is when we're on 5 points, it's really hard. Their 1-win condition here is that like Tron runs Urtica, doing some sort of math, and we moonpool to give it another counter, and then clearinghouse flatlines. But like there's a chance that if you hit the Urtica here, you always run this as long as you don't die to an agenda. But on 6 points, you can just run this safely. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was last click, so maybe a Blood in the Water is lethal. But like, yeah, that's not gonna be good. Thanks for the game. And again, for as maligned as P can be, that other deck, you have so much more agency. Court. Man, I should jump into a System Gateway beginner teaching decks on a stream. That'd actually be really fun. Especially because we can take the time. One of those players know each other. So another problem with our board state there is we're not on points. And if we're not on points, the runner doesn't have to play her game. Like this deck is not running Regenesis, but say that we're on like 4 or 5 points. Our opponent now has to consider checking things because anything they don't run that's double advanced like can be the game. And so that's going to be a problem from playing from behind. Hey, hey. Just luck, have fun. Ooh, this is definitely a hand. It's all advance. Doing core damage to Lat's pretty sick. I'm going to mulligan this hand though because I don't like what it looks like. This is somehow worse. It's not better. All right, we don't want to keep 5 cards in hand because Lat being on more cards in hand is like not good for us. So I think we just push House of Knives behind a Diviner. None of these we want to put on the table that much. We're not expecting Burner in Lat. I think some players are playing 1 of, but I'll just take a credit here. Pinhole, sick. Assuming it's a Rashida. The question is whether you face check last click and take potentially what can be like 7 damage to a Saisentan. Arkham? Installing that after the pinhole. Oh, they already sure gambled, whatever. Very close. I think we'll just score this. It does 4 damage. It might draw with Arkham. It doesn't. It hits a Simul Chip. That's pretty good. But now we're on 5 cards in hand, so it's much harder for Blood in the Water to be scoreable. Luckily, if they run too late in the click, we can take a card out of their hand. Like this gives us a lot of it can sometimes be like 2 cards out of hand if Lat is planning to do something. So this run's risky. If we House of Knives and you access into a Fuji, you lose. Good beginner content is evergreen and often informative to any player. Exactly, yeah. I think we're going to do some video stuff real soon. Stone Chip, that's a good hit. This is a risky run. Longevity, great hit. Yeah, that's a Fuji. That's lethal. Unfortunately, I think we do install NGO front. Install Blood in the Water behind the Diviner. The other options are like we do install advanced events clearinghouse. I think we install advanced events this and see how it goes. Quick Fuji kills what I needed. Wait, can you hear? Can you hear us? Can they hear us? Why did they say that? Did they also make the math? It shouldn't be that hard to get the lat draw here. So from this point forward, we'll just put the, I think the clearinghouse, if not the Ronin. You just play P against this person? Are you playing the same sort of P we're playing? They're having a day. All right, no breakers so far. If we throw the Ronin, that's maybe a bit more proactive because we can do install, advance, blend the water, or sorry, click, fire, blend the water. The other option is that we just set up a clearinghouse. That's maybe a bit more proactive because it's clickless. They haven't seen any traps so far. I don't know how they're going to read this. Again, I'm not a big Diviner fan. It turns out there's a lot more odd cards in System Gateway. Even in System Gateway, man, the code gate selection in System Gateway is so weird to me. So assuming they end on 4 cards in hand, they'll be on 5 cards in hand. Clearinghouse drops them to 3. We can't do much. Revolver into Trick Shot. Okay, sick. This could be a problem for them. Do we House of Knives here? I think we want to keep our tokens. Why is it called Cambridge P? Because I think the first time it was played was in Cambridge in Massachusetts, if I'm not mistaken. There's a Wikipedia article that you can read that talks about it, but I think it relates back to players in like the Boston meta. Thinking, so they have extra cards in hand. I'm just going to let it send 3 snares in there. We can't fire 2 snares. With a Revolver, they can check this safely. If it was an Urtica, it would be okay, but like, how are we jamming Urticas behind ice? Trashable for 3. Clearinghouse, okay. Should just fire, unless they want to trash a Revolver. Saddest thing about Diviners is the Buzzsaw is always the correct icebreaker choice. I agree. But like I'm doing gateway tech decks, and like at the end of the day, my answer is don't play code gates. Like unless you're playing Funhouse and Reality Plus, like just play 3 white spaces and don't res them half the time. The code gate slot's really, really bad. I guess if you're playing Jnet, you can play Diviner, but like it's so weird. System Gateway's so strange. Like all the barriers are just about good into all the fractors because the fractors are pretty bad. Whoa, they did that? Why'd they do that? Whoa, they threw out a Revolver. We're 2 simulchips in. Yeah, but the code gate slot's really, really cursed. They actually can't trash the clearinghouse. Yeah, but the code gates, I don't know. The sentry slot is actually interesting. The barrier slot is just like bad. All the barrier breakers are just not good into the barriers you want to play. That's pretty good. The fractures are pretty bad as Cleaver. Yeah, but all the good barriers in System Gateway are like 4 strength, what's it called? Palisade, 10 to 5 strength Fairhouse, and like Brawn. Right? Like the only low strength barrier is Ping. Right? And like Ping is good for other reasons. Like you're not wrong, but also it's weird. Not like that. What's money for? I don't know. So this can do 5 damage. Like Cleaver's a good card, but specifically it's very easy to make a deck in System Gateway that makes Cleaver struggle. That's the final simulchip. Credit, overclock into the remote. Okay. That's fine. They trash this and they draw a card. So they won't get lat draw. Because wait, Onacom hasn't fired yet, right? No. So doing a net damage here doesn't matter. Gyro, how's it going? Man, this deck. I don't like this. This is why all my SG decks run Marjana. Oh no. Break Ping okay. Break everything else terribly. It is going. I mean, it's equal better than Corroder. Is everything until you get to Brawn or bigger. I agree, but like specifically in System Gateway, you should make Cleaver stressed. Okay, we install advance this, we can't fire. If we install advance this, they can run for a credit. The question is, do they have a credit? Checking? No. I hate this hand. I think Urtica without advancements is like, oh, come on. This is the Netrunner? This is the Netrunner we're playing? This is going to be our last game with Cambridge type P. This is not for me. We haven't found any little agendas too, which is a bit annoying. 5 cards in hand. Is Cambridge today? No, we've been playing Personal Evolution just today in general. So we played like D's list for like 7-8 games, had a great time. But now we transitioned to Austin's deck from Worlds, and it's like, I haven't felt like we're doing anything great. I'm besmirching the NSG president's deck choice on stream, and I'm only slightly nervous. Only a bit nervous. Hannah, that's good. Second Revolver, okay. Could have actually Moonpooled to deny the lat draw. Austin's a coward, don't worry. Such a wild sentence. All right. We could have actually denied, yeah. And just as a heads up, you might need to ask for a lat draw with face downs. Right? Yeah, if there's a spin docking to the table, we can deny lat draw. So you generally should be asking before you get your free lat draw. Oh. I don't like that because we're chatting. Yeah, sorry. With stream chat. I might miss that. All good though. Okay. Okay, Rashida behind the Diviner. It's fine. Keeps him busy. We can go for the install advance play on the Urtica or the Cerebral. No big deal. Is he going to run this? Couldn't tell you. 3 sec should be enough. I know, but like you know how focused Andre is? Poorly. Is this bad for us? 5 cards in hand. This might be a deep dive turn. I'm assuming it is. Thinking fine. Hitting an Urtica here makes you more likely to check the table. Somebody mentions a cool board game or a 5-minute tangent. Hey, you guys been playing L5R? Now, this deck costs 2 to trash. It's actually a decision. Need to indicate lat draw button beneath the paid ability window. Yeah, so we're gonna go for the deep dive here. Missed it. That's fine. Do we lose to this deep dive? Yeah, we actually can lose to this deep dive. Hoping that this does damage. Do we have to res anything? No. Well, that's good. We hit a deep dive and an Onicom. It's on 2 cards in hand. The table's lethal sometimes. Okay, thinking. Hold on. Thinking. So this might be the correct. Yeah. That we res the Moonpool, throw out the Blood and Water, get a 3rd on Ronin. So that puts Apple on 4 cards in hand. And that means that they have to actually do something here. That's wild. If we res, now we're going to lose the deep dive in 2 turns, but if we res Moonpool, get the Blood and Water out of our hand, Ronin's on 3. Then we advance Ronin, fire it. That does 3 damage. We ask for action. We can't score out. Shit. Hit the dive we already did. No, all good. Our opponent knows where 2 clearinghouses are, so I don't think you're that scared of this table. This is the next card. I hate this deck. I hate this deck so much. This is just the worst. It's so annoying. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm way too tilted. I'm hungry too. I didn't have a big enough lunch. This is fine. Like, if we get down another sentry, it's actually genuinely hard. We can tax out the revolver. We're like on the last simul chip, last revolver. Oh, that's sick. Wait, we can do 3 damage with this with the moon pool? I don't think we want to do that. Vertica, hit a propeller, and a turbine. Okay. Okay. Imagine giving Lad a core damage. Not using Hannah every turn as well. Like, some amount of worried about what's going on the table. Okay, thinking. So here we can moon pool the blood in the water out of her hand. Oh, but then we don't have the blood in the water. So why are we doing the Ronin kill? All good. Okay, Sting, Overrider, Mitosis. Maybe we should have actually done a Sting. I think we should have done a Sting there. I think putting 2 traps is not correct. But a Sting actually helps us win the game. Playing Ronin, why not playing Wandering Ronin in L5R? Did I get one? I got some Altards in the mail. Actually, I did. I got some eBays. Yeah, I think one of those should have been an agenda in like hindsight. Maybe we want the agendas in hand. Oh, Prisha, looks like we might trash stuff. Please run the wrong thing so we can win. Never mind. They'll never expect double trap. Yeah, but they also will never run. Like Onacom Stone Chip, why do you run? Wiggles fingers. Hell yeah, I had like 40 wandering Ronins at a time. They were everywhere. I found them in bags and pockets. I don't know how people like dispersed prize support, but there's so much weird prize support. I wanted to pick up these. They came in like weird combinations. If we res this, we can't res. I think we have to let this access through. Oh, it might be a deep dive. Yeah, they stone chipped. I think with a stone. The thing is, like, if we res this, does it actually stop them from deep diving? No, I don't think it does. So we lose here 9 out of 9 times. Like, if it's an enemy, we'd consider resing it, but I'd rather have snare money. Yeah, I picked this up mostly to get like full art provinces and stuff like that. Those seem useful. We probably shouldn't have hit this on the first run. We should wait later. Maybe it doesn't matter. How does it not stop them? Chip? Yeah, they'll chip. They have a propeller. They just trash a Parisha. So we lose the deep dive here for sure, unless it hits a snare. Oh, okay. We just lose. I do not like this. I think we could have been more proactive and put agendas on the table, but this feels like such a non-game. Thanks, you too. Like, our opponent went really hard too and like got down to like a sentry breaker problem. We didn't have any Saisantans. We didn't have any like ways to actually tax us out, but they only had like 1 more revolver until Steve comes down. But at the end of the day, like, do they run it? Do they don't run it? I don't know. I really don't like this. I think this is more fun in person, especially at Worlds where the stakes are pretty high. But that's definitely not for me. Is there any other Jinteki PE decks that I think might be kind of fun? You need to suffer the consequences of your actions? Oh my god, it feels so bad just sitting there and waiting for stuff to happen. I think Council's running a lot of sentries, right? Not what I thought. Gatekeeper's really cool. What is this from? So this is Wage Workers. This is full asset spam. Bladderwort, Maryland, Padcam, Rasheed, Bring Them Home 3x, Daniela 3x. What the heck is this? What is this? Pad campaign? Reaper function? Gatekeeper is hella cool. 2 Fujis, False Lead. I played False Lead in my Cambridge PE decks, and I like it a heck of a lot. Mind you, I think the last time we played like Cambridge PE, I don't think we actually played Overrider. Maybe we did. Play Stargate for Iceless Nonsense? What do you mean? Stargate's like super underplayed. And I don't mean like it should be played more, like you just don't expect to run to Stargate. Oh, this is the last time we played PE on stream. We had a great time. But I like this a fair bit. This is not like full mitosis gaming. It's just like jamming, and Piranhas didn't do anything, but Piranhas makes a fair bit of sense in PE. The name of the deck is Play Stargate. Oh, is this one of your decks? Oh, I don't like Iceless nonsense. I don't like that. What is it? I think that's a Diogen deck, right? That keeps, if you open Decklist in a new tab, it opens the same tab. I don't know why it's that. Decklist name Stargate, not a mistake. Yeah, this is the same deck as the other deck, except people might not see Punitive and just die. Like, I don't think I like this. I hate Mwanza. I'm out, Diogen. I'm out. I'm straight out. I'm not doing that again. We'll try this. Amazing tempo acid PE deck from test running, made 23% more efficient at killing a runner. It's like a fidget spinner. Experimental addendum. Seisenton pad can be a bit awkward with Bladderwort. There could be more elegant solutions, but I'd probably pay at least one copy Seisenton nonetheless. Fidget spinner death is good. Yeah. Beans with Sasha, Ben Musashi per voice recognition software. Might actually be all right here. Replacing one Daniela, maybe. Two Daniela might still be better, though. Oh, sorry, Nana. Trying to get out. Okay. Because I myself, I love to get some Warrior trackers in here too to protect our cohort. Guides, protocols, and front company. Who's fronting? But I'm open to admit that my beautiful Warrior children might be misplaced here. Runner barely has time to set up any board state. Some testing groups may be exploring a version with Regenesis. Fun, cool, not direction I ventured towards. I think Regenesis with like the cohort gaming is really sick. Front company, also kind of poisonous. I think I've been rolled in Jnet before by decks like this. I just play P and go horizontal and put front company down and just cohort turn after turn after turn, and it's hard to check. I imagine it's something similar to this. Let's give this a shot. This is called Monopoly on Murder. Froco is toxic? Yeah, it can be pretty annoying. Running archives, you can make that bad. Cool. Does deck wants powers? Oh yeah, powers is really good. I just don't know what you spend the influence on. Like maybe you drop a Maryland for a powers. I could see that being pretty sick. I like power a lot. I just worried about taking too much of the acid economy out of the deck because the deck has no economy whatsoever. Bring them home is also like a card that if it's good, I think I'm going to be pretty upset, and it might be good. Remove 3 cards, one of them being a choice, is like a lot on a turn where you can set up like weird front company board states. Reaper function too. Yeah, pretty sick. I even kind of like hybrid release. Like hybrid release front company is messed up. Like it's pretty cool. Emil 1, Zaya 40 cards. Okay. Opening start, Seisenton HQ. Wage Workers Maryland seems good. I'm not gonna push out Rashida. Actually maybe we can because it's P and people like don't know what P is gonna do. Hey. Best of luck, have fun. All right, we'll get something on HQ so we don't get diversion. That's usually our play pattern against criminals in the standard format. And then it's whether we put on the table Wage Workers or Maryland. Now, Wage Workers doesn't matter that much, so I think we can just take the high roll and do Maryland Rashida and see if this sticks. Players don't know if these are stings or snares, so it's sometimes hard to tell how people respect. I was watching your stream, turned it off, no pleasure in cheating. Hey, cheers. Oh, yeah, cool. Wage Rashida, Maryland, Seisenton. I just don't think we can use the Wage Workers that well in the following turn that I don't think we need it down on this board state. Okay, we lost Rashida. Right, like what are we gonna do with Wage Workers next turn? Res it? And then draw 3? Install 1? Maybe? But I don't think we want to pay 2 for that. All right, so this text is only relevant if we res it. It's weird how Head Sure Gamble was a bad start for us, but okay. Score falsely? We will eventually. I just assume we're gonna do like something first. Like I think we're gonna be an acid deck, like a stabilized deck, then push. Okay. Like this seems a bit more reasonable because Spin Doctor into Wage Workers is good because we can do triple install. Bravado. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Game could be over. Oh no. Event. Oh, they survived. They shouldn't axe us here. It's a bit risky, but we got a Miss Bones, a Breaker, and a Mystic Miami. Only one event in hand, and we missed it. We had no events. Holy crap, if we had resource there. Literally no events. We could Spin Doctor here into like a Fuji. I will Spin Doctor. Gatekeeper, okay. That's surprising. They did play an event. I was surprised to say resource there. But yeah, that could have flatlined. We didn't get it. We have bottomed out. Dirty laundry, checking out the wage workers. If they trash it, we're happy. Okay, they don't. Good. All right, we need to stabilize. A bladder wort would be great. Yeah, they took a risky assets there. Sting and Fuji both end the game. But you have to take risks sometimes. So we can do credit, res, wage workers, credit. I don't like that because it pins us to low credits and they're likely to trash it on the following turn. With Spin Doctor, we can discard cards, no problem. So we might just want to do click for 3 to threaten snare abstractly in the near future. They don't have a lot of cards in hand. If we had more credits, Blood in the Water could do something. Wait? Why? Why would we wait? Credit, wage worker, credit. I don't like that line because we end our turn on 1 credit. Like, it's not that good. Get your wage workers online. Yeah, but like, why won't they trash it next turn? Right? Like, we need to get out of the hole, and we don't get out of the hole by wage workers. If we go 1, 2, 3, res go down to 1, go to 2. You're right. We're on 2 credits, but like, I'd rather be on. I'm going to do this. I don't think this is right. Because I don't think so. You're right now, though. They should probably consider trashing this. But I thought they wouldn't trash it before. On 13, they should trash it. Like, we lost 1 credit. Now they have to spend a click in 4, but okay, maybe. Maybe I'm a bit harsh about it. I thought we'd be on 1. It's a pad campaign. That's not going to fire next turn. Dirty laundry. Like, they should take the wage workers down, probably. They want to go R&D here because they get Zaya. They flatline to Fuji. This is a risky run. They'll probably trash it, discards wage workers. Yeah, but what else are we going to discard? An agenda? To Spin Doctor? Trash Rashida. Okay. That's what we want. Can we do triple install here? We can. Triple install credit's kind of sick. Wait, this wage worker is cracked. You can ice Bladderwort? What a time to be alive. I think they could have afforded it. It was dirty laundry. Like, they're on 15 credits. They could have trashed the wage workers. I just don't think it's easy to tell how good wage workers is. So we can do 3 damage. Turns out wage worker is good. It's good, but it's good because they're letting us have it. They shouldn't let us have it. Hit a bravado. Okay. So unfortunately, we iced this up, so we don't. It's harder to get stuff on the table. We haven't seen a Hermes yet, but now we probably want to just do credit, put a sting on the table, or maybe even a House of Knives. We can score this with wage workers. That's the best case scenario. We did mess up Bladderwort. Inside job. Okay, never mind. We didn't mess it up. They've opened up our scoring server. So what's wage workers been? +3 credits for 2? Yeah, it's pretty good. Revolver's down, so HQ is possible. Diversion here. How bad is this for us? Pretty bad. So we can either go down to 1 credit or 0 credits and have a Reaper. I think it's more important that they don't have money, so I will res. They have to boost here. It's really awkward. Duck, yeah, we can only duck a bit, but we'll duck the bit. Vent, I guess. Can't be wrong twice. There's no way. All right, no, they boost. Oh, they have Cheswick credits. Yeah, okay, that's sustainable. I think they need to take the money here. So they can either take our 3 credits to go to 5. And if that's the case, we can do credit, install behind the gatekeeper. Kill. Will we do 2 damage to them? I don't think so. I think if they spend a click and 2 credits trashing this, we're okay with the idea. Do we just do tempo Reaper function? I don't think so. I think that's a fun thing to just have hanging over their head. Needs more chaotic lines. Do the damage? No. Maybe, but then we're playing grinder. We're not grinder. We're tempo. Did the stream start with regretting the safe boring plays in board games? Yeah, but this is not a safe boring play. This is an exciting cool play. They have to like plan around this. The after they know it's there, but they still have to go and trash this for 2 credits. Like them spending 2 to draw versus a click and 2 to trash this is like kind of comparable. I'd rather them spend 2 credits and a click to run this. Like real talk. The tempo is actually better in this, I think. Hit their second revolver, there's no way. Oh shit, that's fine. All right, them getting the first sting is okay. We have to consider resing the gatekeeper though, because the boomerang will be on here. I think we just don't res the gatekeeper. This false lead should be in the score area by now. Now we'll do the House of Knives next, I think. Do we actually hit the second revolver? That's sick. Like they can die to this because they didn't trash a revolver. So if it's a sting, if it's a Fuji, they flatline to the Reaper. Assuming they don't have steel skin. Ooh, how many spin doctors have we lost? 1. So do we score out the Blood in the Water? I think we just do the House of Knives. Okay, now we do it. Now we tempo time them. Yeah, I think we tempo time them. Thinking, do we tempo time them? Tempo. If we do Blood in the Water, install advance, we go down to 1. Yeah, that's probably fine. Oof. Could have Shibboleth. I don't like going down to 1 credit. It honestly might be better to do this. Triple advance, click for credit. Because this also does 4 damage and the Blood of Water should be safe. Unless they take their turn off here, which they might. This is cheaper than this. No, it's not. This is the same. Whatever, I'll do it. It's points. This also takes a card out of their hand. Ooh, twinning. Nice. Yeah, you end up on 1 credit. You're right. I forgot this was not that expensive. Might as well score the blood. Yeah. And we can do the House of Knives. Next turn, we'll probably do triple credit install like a Spin Doctor. Or hopefully we draw into a Bladderweight. That'd be the best case. This is more interesting. This is so much more interesting. We're actually making plays. And like they have to interact. Like we, you know what I mean? Have I besmirched Austin enough? Are we all uncomfortable? Great. All according to plan. Shit. Bravado, server 5. Okay. You have to be big careful. This is now just a 4 credit card. And a lot of times in this matchup, it's more important to have cards in hand. So like, I get this. But when you're on 1 card in hand, I don't know if you have to be a bit careful. Like you flatline to a lot of stuff here too. Fuji kills you. We can't fire snare. Our opponent's taking some risky runs. Getting exciting to techie matchup. You want to get that Zaya, but generally you want to do this sooner. Ooh, bring them home. Oh, that's a card. Only if they've stolen or trashed. So you think that they think server 7's a garbage? Like a snare? Jailbreak. We have 4 credits. Wait, this deck doesn't even have snare, does it? Oh my god, it has 2 snares? Oh no, this is Josh's deck. Yeah, it doesn't have any snares. So they're going to be on 3 cards in hand. We can shuffle some cards back in with Spin Doctor. I think we're okay doing that. Whatever. Fuji, we lose. Reaper function for Cheswa, okay. Cohort, okay. So they know nothing about the top of the deck. And they're still on 3 cards in hand. Do we have a Blood in the Water last turn? Could we Blood in the Water? Oh, we didn't have credits. 4 cards in hand. Nuka, that's going to be a lot more cards in hand. Okay. I don't think we want to shuffle back in. I'm okay drawing unknown cards. There's a Bladderwort. So I'm just going to score this. Hit a Class Act. That's really good. And we can get the Bladderwort on the table. Wage Workers, they needed to trash this a year ago. Oh my god, it's been so good. So Nuka for 4. That's not going to be great for us. We need to at some point either... We probably just never res the Gatekeeper and just use it as a server. Compilation. Is that scary for us? Let's make it harder for them though. Sure, Gamble, okay. So they didn't steal or trash. Inside Job HQ. This is so risky. Wait, if they use the compilation, they just like straight up flatline. He's still going, yo, Yeti, how you doing? Wait, you can't do the compilation, you just lose. You can't do it. Axis? Like they can decide not to compilation. So like our options are to res with Spin Doctor to protect the blood in the water. I think we should. You can House of Knives against? Yeah, we'll House of Knives again. I'm gonna res a Spin Doctor. There's a chance that it's wrong too. Cause like they're guaranteed to flatline if they use the compilation. Yeah, I like that. So you can't use this. The worst case scenario is they don't compilation, they just blood the water. They hit the brink. Oh, they're dead. Good game. Yeah, multi-accessing with 2 cards in hand is definitely a risk. Especially when we have control, right? I guess they don't know there's a Spin Doctor here. Thanks for the game. You're pressing. Thanks. 9 turns. It's not even a risk. Yeah, there was no risk. Hey, yeah, cheers. That's very kind. Hey, that's very kind. Yeah, so if we drew with the Spin Doctor, we would have drawn into Bladderwort, Wage Workers, and there's actually a chance that they whiff and they don't flatline to that. Now, if they steal exactly the blood in the water, nothing else, like if they steal the false lead, we can score out the blood in the water and they probably flatline to that. But yeah. What's the upside scenario? They get 3 cards with Zaya. No joke. That's the upside. Which, like, if they survive that run, it's not a bad run. I think they know 1 card in their hand there. But it is very risky. Yeah. I do think people play on Jnet casual into PE a bit more aggressively though. Like it's more fun. Hey Bentel. Did they pay 3 for the cup? Yeah, but they trashed a Bladderwort. Captain Pudma. Hey. Thanks, you too. So I like the hand. I'm kidding. I like the Sai Santan to put on RD for Pudma. The rest of this hand is kind of suspect. Pudma's probably going to be playing Burner because she's a shaper that's not lat. What kind of Pudma is this? Is this like Kasi String? Is it Mr. Hands? Is it, what is it? I don't know. I'm going to mulligan this. I imagine we can have a better hand. That's a very similar hand. I want an ice for R&D though, because just getting an infinite Nuka is going to be a problem for this matchup. So we need to ice that up for sure. Let's just get cards on the table. Cohort to throw out, I think the pad campaign, right? Haha, classic PE start. But yeah, infinite Nuka on R&D is going to be a problem. You install Nuka run, and every turn you just get like a diesel. That's not good for us. Oh, that's usually pretty bad. We could have a Spin Doctor to the table. I think if they catalog her here this soon, that's also really bad for us. So they look at the top 4. They can probably just run back. But otherwise, he can just like grab one of those cards. If it's an early Fuji, we actually can flatline. If he steals a Fuji, he dies. Now he knows the order of the cards. Steal a Fuji. Blood in the water, nice. Okay. So can we flatline? Yeah, we can flatline. I think we actually can win here. Oh, want to just run back? I do really love the streams where you play a good deck, by the way. Whoa. So we want to do the order here. So we'll start with the Bladderwort. We might have a flatline here if I'm not mistaken. No. He'll be on 0 cards in hand. He knows the order of these cards too. So mandatory draw. So we'll do the Bladderwort first. We hit an overclock. Then I think we'll do the Cohort to break lock. We need money. Then we'll do the Reaper function to trash to do 2. So he's on 1 card in hand. So we can install Advance the Blood in the Water. And just hope we don't lose to R&D. Okay, Chesva, that's a lot of influence. That's cool. And then we either put a Sting or a Rashid on the table. I think it's probably the... So close. Yeah, there's a chance that we drew the second Blood in the Water. The third one, actually. There's only one more, but he knows what we're drawing into. I think it's probably Rashida to break lock. He knows it's a Sai Santan. He knows the top card of the deck. I guess it's Rashida. We need to recover. Yeah, we need to be able to res the Sai Santan R&D. So he can't really like Pudma here. Well, he could run and just like jack out, but I think he needs to stabilize. Oh, Nuka's so good. Yeah, we need an ice on R&D 3 years ago. You might want to trash a bladder word, but you're actually short of credit. So I don't know if you run R&D here. I think there's still a chance. We drew 1, 2. We drew 2 cards. So he knows on R&D. Nuka to draw 3. Okay. Oh, never mind. He already did that. So 3 cards in hand, only 2 credits. I don't know if you want to overclock the bladder word. Lag? Oh, that's not good. Running R&D, going for it. Can be risky. This gets the Nuka charge, which is pretty sick. Nothing that we have to res here. I think he knows what this card is, though. Just going to rearrange. That's fine. We'll draw all the cards with Rashida. I don't think we actually can afford to cohort, but we'll Rashida first. Maybe we'll get something that we can cohort to that. So we do bladder word first, then Rashida, then cohort. It's really cool, and then start turn triggers actually kind of matter the order. This will put him on 2 cards in hand. So we'll see how that goes. We'll res this Rashida. So we have to do bladder word first because we want to be on fewer than 4. Hit into the depths. Nice. Then we'll do Rashida. So we have options. Then we can use the cohort here to discard one of these options. Front company is like pretty okay against Padma, I think. An enemy's pretty good. These are all good cards. I think I can get rid of the front company. Yeah, that seems better. Okay, so Spin Doctor's great. So Sisodon goes in R&D. We need to get our money down, so we need to res stuff. So this will be new remote server. We can also do Sting behind an enemy to set up some wild plays, but I think we don't have the Reaper function. Maybe we can do a Sting? Because then this is 1, 2, 3. Oh, but the bladder word won't fire, which is a bummer. I think Spin Doctor gives us the most shenanigans protection against like a burner. Yeah, we'll try that. Padma wants to run R&D anyway, so Froco isn't that relevant, IMO. Yeah, but she can't run R&D into Saisantan, right? You're totally right, though. We can shuffle back these cards. I don't care. There's no way that the corporation runner can trash this for 2. Sting check. Okay, so this could be a Sting. It's a Reaper, which does exactly cost 2. I feel like you kind of have to trash that. We actually could have considered resing it just to get our bladder word credits lower. That might have been like just correct. So we'll cohort the Sting. Okay, so we'll do setup Saisantan, Wage Workers, House of Knives. Like this. Rashida? Okay. Did we stop playing loud? Yeah, we did. We played a lot of loud games. We played like 7 or 8 games. Had a great time. Then we played like Cambridge. Had not a great time. Really bad time. And now we're playing Council's like asset tempo deck, which so far has been kind of cool. I do think there's a chance that we should have res just to duck closer to bladder word, but that might not be a winning line. I don't know if we fire Rashida here. That will put us to 5 cards in hand, 6. Yeah, fine. We can just discard our worst card with cohort. Bladderwort, Rashida, cohort. Wage Workers fires. Does 4 damage slowly. Hit a spec work. So we're waiting for a killer here. I think we just ice HQ. The other option is to jam behind this. That's fine too. It's weird how Wage Workers is like a bit anti-synergistic with the text on cohort. Council deck is low-key go. Davs won French Nats with it. He also just won Belgian Nats. Can you do a triple UK Nats? Oh, I had no idea. Exactly this version? Muse. We'll find a killer, I reckon. Weird that's a Muse. What is this going to be, an Ika? It's on a spec work deck, so maybe it's just for Coalescence. And I'm assuming Pudma's on environmental testing. Oh, Revolver. Sick. Okay. Luckily, we have a Spin Doctor on the table, so we don't care about the cataloger that much. That's sometimes easy to miss. I think Bentil plays a lot of Pudma. I feel like I played against Pudma Bentil before. But I don't think you can charge Pudma until you charge the Spin Doctor. He changed a card or 2, although he played R+ in Belgium. Oh, okay. Yeah, that tracks. So this is Saisantan as a Sting. We're happy to res here. Now we probably want to do an enemy into the following Sting. Excuse me. Event, I guess. You can't let this fire. I don't think our choice matters that much. Hit a cataloger, access, this will be 2 damage. Okay, to Kobe. All right. So cool if we do put like the anemone, we do anemone Daniela, so we'll do a triple install here. I don't actually think we throw out a card. Oh, we can just score Blood in the Water, actually. That might be better. Yeah, Blood in the Water is a bit better, I think. I don't think we cohort. I think we just do install advance. I like all our cards. Tempo. That's another damage. The fact that it's always another damage is like the part of this. Like, I feel like it's bad scoring just a 2-pointer, but it's not a 2-pointer. It's a 2-pointer that gives them like even less cards on hand on a turn where they need more cards in hand. And now our gameplay next turn is like, we do Sting and Enemy Daniela. And then a Reaper on the table. That makes it really hard. We have a bit of work to do to score out. And that's the last blood, which is a bit of a bummer. Yeah, I like our hand. Bladder where it's just taking long. Done. Ooh, Bring is good too. So we'll do Sting and Survey. Daniela on top. An enemy on top. Reaper in the far remote. This gives us the ability to duck Bladderwort. Council Reddit for the deck is like, this deck is S tier if they ban Mulch, which is very funny. Wait, how old is this? May. Oh my god, I didn't know it was that old of in a deck. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So there's no Regenesis in this list. I do actually like Regenesis a heck of a lot. But we are okay just like triple advancing the Sting. Okay, so we have to decide whether we're going to overextend here. If we res the Sisenton, this Sisenton's pretty safe. It's likely the Bento will challenge the Wage Workers. You're probably not going to go for the Cataloger, so I think we res the Sisenton, which forces 2 credits. We have bottomed out on credits, but we're okay. So maybe you go for the Bladderwort after that. Let it through? Oh yeah, it actually might be correct to let this through. Yeah, because we need to res the Daniela. You never res the Sisenton? Yeah, Ian, I think you're right. It just uses the revolver tokens, which means it's hard to challenge a server 8. I can just de-res. Yeah, I don't know. The enemy is more dangerous, and then an enemy Daniela is a better use of our credits. Fuji, well, has some nice ones here. It's interesting. Hit another trick shot. That's the last one. No, second one. Sorry, you couldn't see that. We can consider shuffling back with Spin Doctor. I don't really want to. R&D. Oh, fuck. Well, if you make a run with trick shot, you just flatline. We can lose here. Okay, as soon as you make the run, we just House of Knives. You can't run anymore. You literally are going to die to a Reaper function. This is checkmate. There's nothing you can do. And we always do the Reaper function first in case there's a Steel Skin in hand. Ooh, that was squeaky. That was actually quite close. But you can't run because we House of Knives. And if you draw for a card, we flatline there. Thanks for the game. That was a cool endgame. That was a really cool endgame. Otherwise, we could have scored the Sting out. Like, we had a lot of ways. We had a fair bit of damage. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage that turn. So Bento actually had to win on Centrals. But you can't with the House of Knives. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Breaking the lock on R&D with Rashida was huge. Yeah, that's cool. It's cool. It's not grinder. It's like tempo damage. It's kind of sick. They get click catalog of R&D was new. Oh yeah, you're right, London. It wasn't new because they didn't trash. The one way that they can access cards is by just hitting this button. But the thing is, like, they stole a Fuji. The next card was unknown. Hey, you too. That's very cool. That's why you don't res Sisenton. We would still have lethal anyways. Because we would have got Bladderwort credits, we would have been on 2. We would have done Cohort, Sting, Advance. I don't think we had to. But it would have been easier. Like, we would have flatlined with Cohort. If we res the Sisenton. Yeah, we would have been okay. We would have been fine. It's probably not right. I don't think it's right, but we would have scored out. All right. We've been streaming for about 4 hours. I'm getting really hungry. I think we're going to call it there. Give me 1 second. We've had a bunch of nice new people join up on Patreon. I want to give a huge thank you to all these names here and more. I need to update this. It's been a minute. I think we just changed this. So we had a couple new folks join on the Decreemo Patreon. Thanks so much for joining. To Nicholas, name's not here yet so far. And of course, Sanjay also joined recently as a Sure Gamble tier. So thank you so much. Your names will be here really soon. Got to do some editing, a lot of work to do this week. We're going to be back with some video content specifically for system gateways, some startups, some like new play stuff. We'll try and balance it between like learn to play basic stuff in the near future and also like just playing some standard because that's great fun. If you have any feedback, don't hesitate to hit me up. Otherwise, again, thanks to all these names here and more. We're supported on Patreon. And also, there's a whole bunch of folks supporting the channel on the Sure Gamble tier. Their names are unfortunately not here, but any sort of support is incredibly appreciated. Fellow Americans, good luck today. Yeah, a bit of a stressful day, I have no doubt. If you haven't gone out and voted, please go out and vote. That's incredibly important. Of course, you think you know that if you're watching this, but please do participate in democracy. Seems really important. Thanks for streaming. Hey, Cody, thanks for dropping by. If you want to take a second to like the stream, that does help a heck of a lot. It really does. There's gonna be some links to stuff too. Check out the Null Signal Games YouTube channel. They've uploaded all the games separately from COS and the Top Cut and from Swiss at Worlds. Those are really fun watching. That's a new thing that they've started to do, and I hope that it works out well for them because individual videos are much easier to watch than like a 9-hour stream. So I think that's a great practice. Drop my like. Thank you. Really excited for the deck building tips. Thanks for stream. Yeah, Chrissy, I'm excited to get that together. That should be recorded tomorrow and then up on the channel either Saturday or Sunday or latest probably Monday, but that should be up really soon. That's all. Thanks so much for hanging out. See you in a bit. Get involved in the AMT this weekend. If not, we'll see you in 2 weeks before that, but good luck at UK Nats.